All right, so welcome to the One Ring, a troll hole if ever there was one. This is from the Tales from the Lone Lands adventure book for the One Ring Second Edition. This is the first adventure from the book, and two of you have been in this adventure before. If I'm not mistaken, it was Luke and Henrik. I think you've done this once before,
Yep.
and but this will be new for Craig and Reese. So fantastic. Plus, we've got some new characters. So we are going to be starting a campaign at some point, hopefully soon, and you'll be able to, whatever experience, treasure, what have you that you get from this, skill points, adventure points, you can carry over into the campaign. And for Malvagil, Luke, whatever you get, you can put onto your new character if you like. Just, I mean, you're paying for the experience, so you might as well get to keep the experience. Before we get started, anyone have any questions about how to make the rolls? I think you've all played the One Ring before, and we can kind of go over stuff if anyone has any questions. And it's been like 2 weeks since I've played with you guys, so I hope I remember how to do this. Any questions at all? Excellent. All right.
Nope.
Let me pull up my notes. So this adventure starts out as most of our adventures will in the village of Bree, and we can go to the player map. I'm going to take us all there. Um, Bree is just east of the Shire. This will kind of be our home base for at least for this adventure. It was also the home base for the last adventure we did. Last time we ended up somewhere over in this area from Bree, and we will have a slight journey ahead of us this time as well. But for now, the fire is warm, the beer frothy, and the worthies of Bree have gathered in the common room of the pony to sing songs and make merry. This night, there are two distinct groups here that are not native to Bree. The first group are three men. These men are dressed in the garb of merchants, and they are seated around a table. They seem to be quite happy, quite content. They've probably enjoyed a safe and easy journey, and are celebrating or toasting one another to good business and hopefully good profits ahead. Um, At another table, you see two rather dour looking dwarves, and these fellows are near the opposite in appearance to the three humans. The humans are well dressed and seem to be of good cheer. These two dwarves are a little bit road weary, covered in grit and grime. Their clothes are dirty and in need of some repair, and they've got a rather sour look on their faces as though they have seen much and experienced much, and the ale does little to numb the pain of that. Now, the first of our party through the door is going to be a fellow dwarf. This will be Thrannen. Thrannen, as you enter, you see these two groups, and the two dwarves kind of look up at you and they make eye contact, and there's a very subtle nod of the head as though they acknowledge your presence here in the Prancing Pony. What would Thrannen order to drink, and what would you do? There is an empty table kind of in between these two groups near the hearth where it would be warm and comfortable.
Well, I will order a round of ales for all of us.
Excellent.
Um, the the dwarves especially, but also for our fellow human adventurers there. So
As
cling cling on the bar.
you press the coin onto the bar, and the bartender brings you your drinks. He is of the line of butterburs that will be made famous in 30, 40 years' time, but for now, this is probably Barlaman's great grandfather or grandfather at least. But he hands you 6 steins, and they each have a little handle, and you push your worn hands through the handles and carry all 6 at the same time. You're like the St. Polly's girl of dwarves. And you carry the drinks over. You set 3 down on the table with the 3 humans, and probably the other 3 down at the table with the dwarves. The humans are much appreciative and grateful, and clap you on the back. Oh, there's a good fellow, and if you need any goods from Lake Town, we are the ones you should seek. And they raise their glasses to you. The 2 dwarves, they take the mugs and just slide them towards their faces and kind of grunt a little bit. And then the one on the left with the darker beard points his stubby finger at a chair across from him, and he just says in a gruff voice, "Sit, friend."
Very good. I would sit.
As you sit, the one on the left looks at you and says, "I am Floki. This is my friend, Hornbori. Thank you for the drink. We are with thirst and weary from our travels."
You seem to be worn with concern as well. Are you okay? Are you well? Is there anything that you need?
Give me a roll. I will let you choose the roll. You can either do courtesy or you can do enhearten.
I will do courtesy.
And on any of these rolls, if you want to spend luck, you can spend luck. In doing so, we'll give you 1 6-sided die of bonus onto there. And you got a Gandalf rune, which is an automatic success, plus a 6, which makes a great success. So that's an additional success. So they definitely would open up to you. And you see their shoulders kind of sigh. "Oh, we are back from a journey into the lonely lands to the north, and we are glad of this firelight and the stout hedge around Bree. We saw eerie things in the wilderness, and although we encountered no perils, we felt eyes watching us in the night." And Hornbori just kind of nods. He doesn't say much. And Floki says, Are you here on business or pleasure? What brings you to the pony?"
Pleasure.
"Well, there is much to be had here, for things outside of Bree are not so pleasurable, so enjoy the safe comforts of this small-walled village." And he raises his glass, and as he drinks, you see that his eyes are rimmed with tears, as though he has had a very hard journey indeed. As you sit and enjoy the ale with these 2 dwarves, the next one into the prancing pony is a ranger of the north, Adra Hill. And as you come in, eyes turn and look at you, and you see a few people a little bit standoffish. The rangers have a certain reputation in this area. People don't despise you. They are a little bit distrustful, strange vagabonds that wander around, and they don't realize the good that the rangers do at keeping evil at bay. But they see you as wanderers, and if there's ever a crime that's committed in town, a lot of people say, "Oh, it's probably those rangers that came through here." But Adrahill, as you come into the pony, you see likewise the 2 tables with the 3 men, and now the 3 dwarves, and a space between them. And do you recognize Thrannen? Have you adventured before with this dwarf?
I don't think so. Andrew's a relatively young ranger. Um, he kind of he understands that people don't understand his kind. Um, Makes allowances for their apprehension. Uh, Bree, this is like his first time into Bree. It's kind of new on his route, as it were. But basically, he recognizes that something is wrong, and so he's kind of looking, for information about it. I see 3 humans at one table, 3 dwarfs at another table. Seems pretty balanced out. So I'll sit either at the table in the middle or off to the side or whatever. But mostly, I'm just here, seeing, listening for
Rumors and
tales.
such.
Yeah, trying to get into that. Lanky kid, uh, nice looking sword, longbow over his back. Obviously, someone who's more used to hunting and foraging in the woods, and really is only here because more than likely he was ordered to be here.
Right. In fact, you would probably prefer to sleep out under the stars than, in a bed in an inn like this, where you may feel as though you can't keep close eye on what's going on around you because there's four
Oh,
walls that prevent you from
you're
seeing
saying about sleeping there?
yeah, you're just here for the fine ale. As you sit down, another of your kind comes in, and perhaps you know Malvagil, perhaps you don't. Malvagil, as you come in, do you know Adrahil, or do you know Thrannen?
Well, I don't think I would know anybody but maybe Edgerhill, who, I mean, I know our rangers are a solitary bunch, but we travel a lot. We may have seen each other. But also, I think I'm no stranger to Bree, and if this is your first time here, we may not have similar roots.
You would likely recognize a fellow ranger, if not by the garb, just by the look in his eyes. And what do you get yourself to drink here at the Prancing Pony?
Yeah, I think Malvga would probably just try to find like a very cheap ale and a nice dark corner.
And the proprietor, Mr. Butterbur, he provides that for you, and kind of you've got the table near the hearth, but there is also a corner where you'd be able to sit with your back into the corner and be able to survey the room to see the comings and goings. And the last one in is going to be Frore Wildstep. As you come in, as evening is falling over the pony, you burst in, feel the warmth, the heat of the hearth, and you can smell the slightly sour smell of the ale that is spilled on the floor and the tables and inside the cups. There's probably a nice little clinging ceiling of smoke on the top of the room, both from pipes and from the hearth, whatever has leaked out from the chimney, and perhaps even coming from the kitchen where food is being prepared. What would Furor order, and where would you go sit?
Well, Fror would order himself a mug of ale, and then I think seeing the table with my fellow dwarves, do they all seem to be older than me? I am 89 years old, so young for a dwarf.
The two dwarves that the NPC dwarves, Floki and Hornbori. Hornbori especially looks older. He's probably seen over 100 summers, and Floki is perhaps a bit younger. But they're probably your elders. As far as Thrannen, how old is Thrannen? Do we know how old Thrannen? Oh, Thrannen is 65.
Well, to the two eldest dwarves, at least, I will bow low until my beard touches the floor, and give them the due respect, and then I will say, my fellow dwarves, would you permit me to join you at the table?
Oh, give me a courtesy roll if you're bowing, and add a bonus die to that for showing respect to these dwarves.
One moment. Could I add stern to that to make myself inspired if
Yeah,
I'm
so
doing
you
this
would-
as a
So to become
protocol?
inspired, you would spend a point of hope, and then if you use one of your distinctive features, that makes you inspired. So that would add 2d. So when you go to click on that roll, if you click on your courtesy, then it will pull up a second rolling screen and ask you. You can click hope, you can click inspired, and then I also gave you the bonus die. Looks like you rolled everything there, and you got enough. So you did not get any additional successes, no sixes, but it was enough using your dwarven heritage to impress these dwarves here. And Hornbori, there's a seat next to him, and he just kind of kicks it out with his leg, and the chair just skitters out about 8 inches, and you see he's clearly inviting you to sit.
Well, I will join the two dwarves and say, my fellow dwarves, I am Roar Wildstep from the kingdom of Erebor I come, and say, where is it that you hail from?
Floki and Hornbori look at you and say, Erebor? Oh, you've seen bad times and good, I've no doubt. We come from the Blue Mountains, to the west of here. You eastern dwarves are a rare treat here. We don't get too many of you. Tell me, how are things under the mountain?
Well, they are most certainly better than they have been. I myself, though, am known my family for the adventurers. That is why I have my name Wildstep. I go out in search of relics and adventure, so that is where you'll mostly find me. But it is a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Floki places firmly his mug down on the table. It makes a kind of a loud sound, and he says, if you're seeking the wild, it's every direction you look from here. I fear that to the north is naught but trouble. Be wary should you head north.
Oh, and, well, what lies to the north?
Well, we encountered naught, but we felt the eyes burning into us from every direction. It is said that wolves and other such are heading south, as though pushed out by something. You'd best be careful, particularly at night. Stick to the roads if you can.
Well, thank you for your advice, and allow me to buy you a round in return.
Oh, that shall be allowed. And when you mention that you are from Erebor, the three men kind of perk up, and they look at you curiously, and you hear them whisper, he's an Erebor dwarf, he's one of them. And they're looking at you, and one of them kind of raises his cup at you, smiles a little bit, and then whispers to his fellows.
Well, in kindness, I will return the gesture, and perhaps under my breath to the other dwarves whisper, those tub-trading lakemen.
Yeah, you would recognize their attire. They are definitely merchants from Dale. As you are all seated, Adrahil is the first to notice another dwarf. It's like they're, growing them here by the bunch. Another dwarf comes bursting in to the pony. And he's a little bit dirty, again, road weary, probably has not had a bath in quite some time, which for Fror and Thranon, you wouldn't think anything of it. But for Adrahil and Malvagil, you think, that's kind of a dirty dwarf. You can smell him from here. But as he bursts in, he throws the door open loudly and demands a drink. An ale here for Jari! And the bartender sets one on the counter, and he calls out in a loud voice, Are there any brave souls in the inn who'd like to earn their fair share of a great treasure? And he raises his glass in the air, and he scans the room, and he looks at Malvagil in the corner and sees the three men, makes eye contact with them, sees Adrahil, sees the table with the dwarves, and quickly turns away and looks at the other tables. And both Thranon and Fror would notice that he kind of skipped over the dwarves. Hey, who's here for treasure?
Who's not here for treasure?
Ah, that's right. And he steps over to your table, and you see him maybe a forced smile, just like in his picture. He's just kind of grinning like, well, we've a nose for gold, and I'm on the trail of buried treasure. One of me distant uncles, my great uncle Bori, he buried it long ago to hide it from bandits, and only I knows the secret of where it's kept. Tell me, friend, how would you like to make yourself rich this week?
And what would that require?
Just a simple walk through the woods, and help me to take what is mine. There's a valley to the north of Bree, and times being what they are, I'm looking for a few people to watch me back while I go and claim what is mine. It's a treasure cache where only I knows the location. I'll offer you a share of the treasure as payment if we find it. I could even give you an advance. And he holds up a pouch and jingles it, and you hear the ringing of coins coming from this pouch. The three men from Lake Town, they kind of shake their heads and they tell him, "I'm sorry, fair dwarf, but we are not adventurers. We were told not to leave the road, and we will not be able to help you." And one of them says, "Oh, it sounds like easy money." I know. The one that sits in the middle, his name is Harold, and Harold stands up and says, "Well, Mr. Jari, best of luck to you," and drains his drink and sets it down. Jari looks from Thranin to Fror. "Well, are you both coming, or just the one of you?"
Could I make a riddle roll to see if I've heard of this treasure?
Yeah. So you could do lore, but this would probably be a riddle roll because it is something specific to dwarves, and maybe you've heard something of this. Go ahead and give me a roll. Okay, so you... that was close. Yeah, missed it by one. You've not heard of this, but you know it's not uncommon at all for dwarves to bury treasure to keep it from prying hands or relations. They don't want, every cousin coming out of the woodwork or every great nephew like Jari, laying stake on it. But it's very, very feasible. It sounds very probable as well.
Well, if my companion Thranin here is willing to go, I too would never turn down adventure and potential treasure.
That's more like it. Who else? Who else will join me? And Adrahil, give me an awareness roll. As you hear a voice say, "Oh, that sounds like very easy money. I'll count me in." And you see a man raise his hand.
Well, if they're heading into the wilds, they're going to need a guide, so I'll take this walk with them just to make sure they return from it.
Yeah, if nothing else, to keep them safe. Give me that awareness roll, if you would. The Eye of Sauron, that counts as a 0. You see this man as he talks about easy money and seems like this is too good to be true, as he kind of says, "Oh, if it's there for the taking, probably unguarded." Malvagil, you saw this guy come in, and when he first came in, with your position in the corner kind of surveying the room, you saw him come in and kind of glance side to side, and then he perked right up. But you can tell when he first came in, he had kind of a somber look on his face. And even now, as he's talking about easy money, something doesn't sit right with you. Give me an insight roll, Malvagil.
Oh.
Wow, you rolled high, but not quite a success. There's any number of reasons why a person could be sad coming into a tavern. Many people come in here to drink and forget their problems, and it's likely that is true of this man as well. But then hearing of easy treasure, maybe this is his chance to turn his fortunes. Jari begins to tell a sad tale, how woeful it is that the gold of the dwarves is lost to them, and and that it's just a week's travel to the valley where my uncle's treasure is buried, and I'll set up your stake as well. And he sets the coins down on the table, and several silver pennies spill out. Adrahil is going to embark on this journey. What about you, Malvagil, at seeing this and seeing the two dwarves and this other fellow ranger and this kind of depressed looking man chime in that they're interested in this adventure? What would Malvagil's response be?
Yeah, well, I think not only does Malvagil want to figure out why that guy was acting a bit strange, but also it'd be great to adventure with a ranger.
Absolutely.
It's probably been years since he has, so that would be delightful.
It'd be very delovely. Jari heads over and to this other fellow and says, "Oh, I'd be glad to have you as well. I need strong backs, for there's much gold to be carried out, and a share of it will be yours. Let me buy you a drink, friend." And he goes over to the bar and gets this man a drink. Now, Malvagil, you mentioned that you've got some, not distrust, you've got some maybe interest in this man that came in, and you sense that something's not quite right. Give me a riddle roll as you're trying to determine something here is not adding up.
Right. This is I don't think I can succeed.
If you get a Gandalf rune, you could succeed.
Oh, yeah,
That
yeah. it's
would be
always
the
going
only
wrong.
way, unless you spent hope and probably became inspired. Yeah, there's something about this guy that just kind of your ranger radar is going off. Like there's more to this man's story. Maybe you're a little suspicious. Thrannen and Fror, they lean into you, and Floki and Hornbori lean into you, and Floki says, "You'd best be careful with that one. That man is known to us. He was exiled from the Blue Mountains for theft and fraud. Do not trust the wretch. I will not speak further of his crimes, but, fellow dwarves, you can appreciate what he did and why he was punished. That man was accused of tomb robbing and dealing in relics from lost Moria. This is a crime in the eyes of the Longbeard dwarves. I admit," says Floki, "that associating with Jari tarnished the good name of my own brother, Flonar. And he brings naught but ill luck to those who travel with him. But I cannot tell ye what to do. Ye are both grown dwarves. You'll do what you will. You'll travel with whom you will, but keep an eye on that one."
Well, Floki, your counsel is well received. I will make sure that I don't trust that one.
Fror, give me a roll as you see the coins that were there on the table. Give me a travel roll. This is kind of how maybe well traveled you are, how used to the road you are. Maybe you know where these coins might be from. Yeah, they got a horse on them. A lot of people around here, put pictures of horses or animals. If you were in Canada, it's a loon on the Canadian money. You're not sure where this might be from. A best guess might be like Rohan. You're familiar with Rohan, or at least you've heard of it. You've probably never been there, but perhaps this is silver from Rohan. Jari finds him a table and sits down, and he sits by himself, and the other man wanders over to Adrahil, and he says, I've been thinking that splitting this treasure all these ways, maybe that ain't the best way. Perhaps you and me, perhaps we takes all the treasure for ourselves. I'm not saying I mean ill for all these lot, but you and I could take everything and split it 2 ways. What do you say?
I don't like the way this is going.
It's easy money. Give me, Threnon, give me a roll. This is going to be a scan roll. Scan is to see, hear, smell, kind of your senses as you study something, and maybe you see this conversation as this man sits down. Excellent, great success with the 6. You recognize that this man is talking to Adrahil, and Adrahil maybe has his back to you. You can't quite see what his expression is, but this other fellow, he's kind of got a look in his eye. You've seen this look before. As a dwarven champion, you know that greed is very common amongst most of the poor peoples. Many people would steal from others out of necessity, not because he wants the money, but he wants the easy way to relieve himself of his symptoms. And you maybe heard him mention something about split it 2 ways with your extra success there. So you can already hear that he's scheming a little bit.
I will say over the other one's shoulder, there are more important things than gold. There's a man's pride and there is valor. You are not showing any of those.
You see him look at you and his eyes go large, and then he lowers his head and says, I'm sorry, it was just an idea. You're right, of course. And he steps up, and you see him kind of wringing his hands together. With your extra success, give me an insight roll, and you can add a bonus die to that.
I can add a what die to it?
A bonus. So when you go to roll that, at the very bottom, it'll have like bonus and penalty. Yeah. And just click 1 to the right of the 0, so it shows an extra d6. So that will add a d6 to your roll.
The right. Okay.
Well, the Eye of Sauron counts as a 0. This man, he seems like he flip-flops pretty rapidly. He came in, he looked kind of sad, he perked up, he looked kind of greedy, now he's being quiet. Something's up with this guy, but you're not sure what it might be. You kind of get a weird feeling, and you know that he is likely desperate.
Yeah, I don't trust him.
Jari clears his throat after several rounds and eating some bread and cheese. Friends, tomorrow morning meet me just to the north of Bree. I'll have breakfast ready and we can begin our journey. It'll be but 5 or 6 days to this little hidden valley. We'll take the treasure. We'll be back here before the next moon sets. Full and heavy. It won't be but 2 weeks' travel, and we'll be wealthy. Wealthy as could be. And he comes over and clasps hands with all of you that have agreed to go. And then he heads out with a wave into the night. Is there anything anyone wants to do before retiring and fast forwarding to the morning?
Yes. Have 5 more ales.
Excellent. As you order them all at once?
Oh, yes.
Sweet. They bring over a large pile and you just set to it. Frore, at seeing your fellow dwarf putting these away on the eve before a great venture, do you celebrate with him?
Yes, in fact, Roar will pull out his viol and play a song.
Oh, and as your song is played through the prancing pony, give me a song roll. And if you have, I think your viol is one of your useful gear. That will add a
Yes.
1d6 to your song roll. And you get it. And as you play, this enheartens and enriches the spirits of everyone around. And everyone feels good when they go to sleep, as though this will be easy money and an easy venture. As you sing a dwarven traveling song about gold and riches at the end of the journey, and returning with great glory, and another song to share in the tavern. Thranin is very deep in his cups by the time it's time to head out for bed. What are the two rangers doing while these dwarves are drinking and making merry?
Probably getting an early rest. I mean, it's gonna be a weird journey, I'm suspecting.
So not
Yeah.
getting drunk.
Yes.
No, Andrew Hill's having watered down water.
Nice.
But as a ranger, especially the young one, he's used to frugal. The the idea of we'll split this together is like, what will we do with it? You can't eat silver. It this doesn't make sense.
Right.
He's again just more interested in making sure that these fools don't get themselves killed.
And that's excellent motivation for this. You're not in it for the gold. You're in it to make sure that these guys come back and can spend some of that coin. Malvagil, what about you? Are you in it for monetary gain, or is it more of a kind of good-natured adventure, or what's your motivation?
Yeah, I think pretty much just a bit of good-natured adventure and boredom. You wouldn't be doing anything better than this.
Right. Give me a lore roll as you mull over kind of the story and the adventure set before you.
Ooh, close.
That was very close. You recall a rumor, or at least stories that there are haunted places away to the north in the Weather Hills, valleys where the shadows lie deep and the sun never reaches. And you once heard a tale that there's old buried treasure in one such valley. Some say it was dwarves who buried it. Some say it was the kings of old. You don't know who has the right to it, but as you recall this man telling you once, just outside of his farm, "You wouldn't catch me going treasure hunting in those hills. Too easy to fall and break your neck, or have something there break it for you," he said. And you recall the journey may not be a simple march to the north to reclaim this, but that there could be trials and tragedy before the end. As you get up in the morning, in the One Ring, you don't need to go shopping and buy gear that you might take. You've got it. You've got anything within reason. None of the items have any. There's no pricing. You don't track individual coins. You track treasure as basically like a single unit of treasure would be like a bag of gold or jewels or something, and so you're not going to track that. But if you need to get rope or rations or torches, it's assumed that you can just go and find those things as long as they would have them here in town. You couldn't go and get a magic ring or something like that, but any mundane traveling gear you would be able to obtain. But in the morning, a short distance outside of Bree, in a sheltered dale, you find Jari crouched over a campfire, merrily frying up a breakfast of bacon, sausage, and eggs. Nearby, 5 fine little ponies crop the long grass. Jari jumps up and says, "Friends, eat, eat. We have a long journey ahead of us before we find me great-uncle's treasure, so let us put a little food in our bellies ere we march." And the last one of you to arrive is that other man that looked kind of sad and somber. And as he takes the plate of food, you see him taking a few bites, and then he pauses and he actually sets the plate down as though he is not hungry. And he kind of holds his stomach as though he just does not feel well. And Jari looks at him. Oh, what was your name? Diarmok. Diarmok, you feeling all right? You ready for this? And Diarmok pauses and then nods his head. Yes, I need the money. Very good, very good. Clean up your plate and let's go. We are going to do a journey. Let me open the journey map here. Alright, so let me pull out some tokens. So we need to get a guide. The guide will make a travel roll. We also need a hunter, lookout, and a scout. The hunter will make hunting rolls, the lookouts will make awareness rolls, the scout, if called upon, will make explore rolls. So I'll let you choose where you want to be for this journey. Now I have gone ahead and I know how far this journey will be, and so I know how long it will take us. And then we will roll. If the guide rolls a success, we travel 3 days, plus 1 day for every 6 that they roll before we have an event. If you get a fail, then it will be 2 days or 2 hexes away before we have an event. So depending on how successful our guide is, we may have fewer or more events than normal. Where would Malvagil go? Perfect.
Okay, I could do Hunter. I just wasn't sure if that would be necessary for this one.
Probably not. What will happen when there's an event is it will target one of the people, and it's a random roll. Is it the scout, the lookout, or the hunter that gets targeted? So everyone will may not have the necessity to make a die roll. Let's have Thrannen give us our first travel roll. Now you can spend hope on this, and you can be inspired if your distinctive features would be appropriate, but I will let you make that roll. You just need to get a success, and the event will happen 3+ days away. Otherwise, it will be 2 days away.
I'm pretty good on travel. That's one of my preferred skills, and I have 3 dice in it. So
oh, excellent! Yeah, you will be our guide.
I'll go with a straight up roll.
And you got a Gandalf rune, so automatic success plus a 6. So 4 days into our journey before we have any sort of event. Now let me see who gets targeted for the event. It's going to be the scout. So this is going to be Furor. And I'm going to roll to see what the event is. Now we are in a wildland, so this is going to be an unmodified roll, so a single roll. A 6, which is a mishap. So our scout will need to make an explore roll. If the roll fails, we add 1 day to the length of the journey, and you will gain an additional 1 fatigue. And that is a success. Well done. So,
with my spyglass, I quite good at scouting out the proper hills and dells that we need to travel through.
So the mishap was probably a little bit of a swampy area, and you noticed it before we got too far into that direction and would have had to backtrack. And so you kind of point out like, no, we've got to go west and then back north. And so we take a path around, which ends up saving us time because we had done so well. As we stop that night on the journey, you notice that we travel first along the edge of the Chetwood, and once clear of the forest, you turn northeast. Off to your right, the low hillocks and wild pastures of Bree country slope down towards the bowl of the Midgewater marshes, and that's where you prevented us from getting stuck. And you see little streams flowing eagerly towards the marsh, unaware of whatever awaits them in that fetid place. Ahead on the distant horizon, the line of the weather hills stand like a dozen watchful sentinels, with mighty Weathertop furthest to the south, set off a little bit from the rest like a lonely captain. You only get a few fleeting glimpses of Weathertop because the soft gray mists that cloak the entire land in a damp shroud often prevent it. It's only during noontime do you even see a faint inkling of famed Weathertop. Now, as you engage, about the third or fourth day, Jari kind of spends some time with each one of you, asking, where you come from, why you've gone wandering, or what you're going to do with the treasure. He mentions that his uncle had laid magical spells of concealment on the hoard, and that only Bori's rightful heir can open the cave, and it has to be on sunset, or at sunset before the cave will open. It's like, you see, it's the moonlight. The moonlight is what allows to open. And Fror, this sounds familiar to you, something like this. Give me a lore roll with a bonus die, since you're from the region of Erebor.
Very well. One moment. Could I add wary as a distinctive feature to
Yes.
inspire myself?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Success. As he starts talking, he mentions, something about it has to be at sunset, and you need the right sort of key, and that can only be found at moonlight. And this sounds a lot like Thorin Oakenshield's quest. That tale is well known to the dwarves, particularly the dwarves of Erebor. And it sounds like he's retelling a tale that you already know, and it's doubtful that his tale is like it's going to be the same sort of thing that Thorin had, but it's almost as though he's telling something, expounding on something that maybe others don't know, but you are well aware of this tale. And it's a little bit maybe off-putting to hear this. And as you hear this, what would your immediate response be?
Well, Jari, that tale sounds woefully similar to that told by us dwarves in Erebor.
Does it? He says, and he kind of scratches his head.
Indeed.
Well, must be a coincidence. Tell you what, I'll be back. I'm gonna go scout ahead before the sun fully sets. Set up camp here, you all, and I will be back. And he tromps off through the weeds, and you can kind of hear him swearing as he's heading off into the fading light.
Fror will go over to Thrannen and say, Thrannen, I don't trust that one.
What do you think, Thrannen? Do you trust this guy?
Not as far as I can throw him.
And nobody tosses a dwarf.
No.
What about our rangers? What are you guys doing while camp is being set up and Jari wandered off to scout? You might be muted. I don't hear anyone.
Probably like getting a fire going.
Oh, excellent.
Making if we don't have a tarp or a tent, we'll look for different spots for bedrolls.
What is
I'm
Adrahil doing?
I'm kind of more watching this group, seeing how they, comport themselves, and trying to get an idea of, who's going to do something dumb that's going to, It's, you know,
Who's going to do
I'm
it
just trying.
first, you mean?
Yeah, I'm just kind of taking my measure of them. But also, you know, this may be the first time I've gone into this particular area. So also, you know, making mental notes of the path, of the bog that was spotted and averted, and things like that. Just trying to get a familiarity with this land as much as I have with my own normal areas.
Give me an awareness roll. And you may add a bonus die to this, since you are taking every precaution to note all of these things.
Nope.
Nope, that's a really
Not
terrible roll. You're so busy, kind of making these mental notes of where these swamps are, where the good paths are in this area, where the bad are, where someone could fall and get injured and not be found for quite some time, and who amongst us is going to screw this up first. And you look over at Diarmok, this fellow that's traveling with you, and you can tell that the more days pass as you head north, kind of the more skittish he gets. And he just seems like he's very unsure about this whole thing, and he keeps looking back to the south almost wistfully, and you suspect that maybe he wishes he was back in Bree. Like maybe this traveling thing, this adventure is not for him. And he's the one that you're looking at like, I think this is going to be the weak link, is this guy.
Well, if I've managed to catch some game or something, I'll sit next to him and first time this far north and things like that. Just try to put his mind to ease.
Yeah. He says, yeah, I come from lands south of here. I've never been this far north before, and I have to confess something to you. I know this dwarf from before. I met him on the road outside of Bree. He paid me to bolster his attempts to recruit adventurers. He's afraid that there might be dangers in this hidden valley, and he asked me to come in a little late so I could kind of, work the crowd and get people excited. I don't think I did a good job, and now I'm kind of worried that maybe I've led you into danger.
Well, you might have backed into your role. You're so pathetic looking that some of us came out here. Some of us came in order to make sure you didn't just fall off a cliff. So,
Well, I don't
what?
I don't think
Why
this
did
is
you?
the job for me.
Well, you don't think treasure hunter is a job for you, or you don't think rallying the troops is a job for you? I mean, you're right on both accounts.
You're not wrong. Give me an insight roll with a bonus die.
What? I mean, why haven't you just returned home?
Go ahead and give me that roll.
Yeah, even with the bonus, this is going to be rough. But
Do you want to spend hope or become inspired?
nope, because I really don't care. But I succeeded.
Wow, nice. He says, okay. Look, there's more to this than what was said at Bree. There is treasure there, but there's something else. It's that valley is home to a band of trolls who capture and eat people. They've got my family. They caught them and they ate them. I watched as they were eaten by these trolls.
I thought you said you've never been this far north before. What was your family? What was your family doing up there? What were you doing up there?
We were relocating. There was issues with the land where I was once before, and we were trying to find a new life. And I met
Were these
this dwarf.
trolls?
I owe people money, you see, and I've not the means to pay it. And I met this dwarf, Jari, and he promised me money if I helped him. And so I did, and instead he led me to these trolls, and they took my family. And he told me that perhaps we can get some brave souls to come back and defeat these trolls, and then no one else need die. But the goal is to slay the trolls. It's not to find his gold. But the trolls certainly have a fortune worth taking. But I'm afraid I led you here under false pretense, and for that I am weighed down by guilt. And I'm sorry.
Well, I would suggest that you return to Bree, settle down there. This dwarf has already gotten your family killed and digested, so I don't think you owe him anything else.
Well, I think perhaps you're right. But I do need some money, and I'm sure we can get some. I need money so I can start over, you see. Otherwise, I'm destitute. And Jari did tell me that there would be a reward at the end of this.
And the fact that your family's reward was death by troll teeth hasn't dissuaded you from this?
What's done is done, and I cannot help them. But I think if we can get a measure of revenge, I will feel better. But I don't know how to wield a spear or swing a sword, and I'm glad that you're here. But I worry that my conscience will weigh heavily if something were to befall any one of you.
Yeah, that's that cold comfort.
Yes. And he stands up and I heard something, and pretty quickly you see Jari coming back into camp, and Diarmok immediately walks away from you and heads over and just kind of rearranges some of the bags, and is, coiling some rope that's already coiled, and just kind of making himself busy. And he's kind of casting side-eye glances at Jari as Jari comes back in. And Jari says, "Oh, only a few more days, and we'll be at that hidden valley where we can find that treasure and claim it. And we'll all be rich. We'll all be wealthy. I'm glad you've all strong backs to help me carry the gold out of there. I could not carry it all myself, not if I had a full week."
What makes you think this gold will still be there when we get there?
Well, you see, no one else but the heir of Bori can take it, and that be me. And so no one knows where it is but me as well. And surely it's not been found, because my uncle would have hid it well with powerful magics, so that none but a dwarf that shares his blood could see the marks where he hid it. And only at the light of the moon can I see it and know where it is. And so, you see, no one else could take it because they're not me.
Is there a thrush involved?
It's more of a curlew. It's a type of bird that's often found in the swamp, in fact. And he points kind of in the direction of the Midgewater marshes that you guys passed. That curlew, you'll hear its call at night, and you'll know that the swamps are nearby.
Good to know. And you have no cousins, brothers?
None that know where the treasure be hidden. None that would claim it. I have the rights to it, as I was the favorite of me great uncle Bori, and so the treasure be mine. I mean ours. It'll be all of ours.
Um, so, what time of year is this now?
It's probably late summer, so the nights
And
days are long, nights are short.
lots of rains, or is summer fairly dry
It's
here?
fairly dry. As the heat of the summer begins to build, the rains would stop, but it's just kind of coming out of the rainy season.
So, would any tracks left by the guy and his family and the dwarf from their last excursion still be here?
Ooh, very possible. Give me either a hunting roll is probably going to be the best. You can also do scan if you want to search a particular area, but hunting, I think you're looking for knowing where people would travel and looking for any signs of passage.
Sure, I'll use a point of hope on this.
Okay. And
Just
you've got, for distinctive features, you have honorable, swift, and shadow lore. Um, Probably none of those would count. Maybe honorable if you're trying to find, what happened to this man's family. You would spend that effort. If you spend a point of hope, I would say you would be inspired.
so it gives me 2 bonuses.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, pretty crappy. Oh, I still succeeded though.
Still enough. Yeah, your difficulty on that is awfully low, so easy enough to find. You do see some signs of passage here. It looks old. You can't tell exactly what it might have been. It looks large. You are familiar enough with this area that you would know troll sign when you see it, and you see the telltale, unmistakable passage of trolls. You can see high up on trees where they've scratched and knocked some bark off. You know that other animals might scratch on trees, deer and bears and whatnot, but this is higher up where they were scratching between their shoulders, kind of thing. And trolls are known in this area to the north, and it looks like a troll has passed through here probably within the last month.
All right, but no sign of old boy, his family,
Nope,
the dwarf.
none that you
Okay.
see. And you feel
All right.
like you checked it pretty well. You made a pretty thorough search. Let's go. Anyone else want to do anything this night at the camp before we continue on the journey? All right, let's go back
No,
to
I
the.
don't think so.
Let's go back to the journey. Let me have Thrannen give us another travel roll. Great success. So that's going to be 3 plus 1 day, so 4 days, which is all that we need. So we will don't need to do an event because we will have arrived. So we were able to travel there without any other event. So by the end of the journey, as we arrive, and we're kind of maybe the night before we're going to arrive, we set up camp again. There's another scene. This is where we will assign fatigue. So we only had one event, and it was a mishap, which adds 2 fatigue to everyone. Now you will lose the fatigue 1 point a day just by resting, and we're going to have a night's rest. Typically, it has to be like in a safe place, and out in the wilds is not a safe place. But we can reduce that roll by everyone making a travel roll. And if you get a success, you'll reduce it by 1 point. And if you get any 6s that are also part of the success, that will reduce it by an additional point. So everyone can make a travel roll. Oh, Thrannen with the extraordinary success. And it looks like, and Malvagil with the great success. And Adrahil with the failure. So, Fror will only have 1 fatigue. and Adrahil will have 2. So if you open your character sheet, I believe it's by your load, which is kind of the middle of your page. It's got your resources, endurance, load, hope, and shadow. The small diamond, it says fatigue. Adrahil will put a 2 in there, which increases your load. And then Thranin can put, or not Thranin, excuse me, Fror will put 1 in there. That.
So if we've been resting, can I recover my hope points?
So what we can do, so you regain hope during the fellowship phase, which is kind of, so this is the adventuring phase when you go do great things. The fellowship phase is kind of the time in between adventures. So we'll probably do a quick fellowship phase at the end of this. But what you can do is anytime you spend a night with your companions, you can spend fellowship points. And so our fellowship has 6 fellowship points, and they can be used by any of you to regain a point of hope. And so it looks like Adrahil's down 1 and Fror is down 2. So on your character sheet, if you go down to kind of below your endurance, there's a prolonged rest. You can click on that, and I believe it will ask you if you want to use fellowship points. And if you guys want to use that, it will restock your hope. And so that pool will refresh at the end of the adventure. And so that's kind of 6 points that anyone can use during the adventure. Do you see how to do that? If you click on the prolonged rest button below the endurance, and it will pull up a second screen that will say like how many points do you want to recover. So I think Fror only regained 1.
Yes, Fror will only take 1 of the fellowship points.
Okay. And did Adrahil, if you want to reclaim 1, if you click on the prolonged rest, it will ask if how many points do you want to recover, and you can set that.
I'm good.
Okay. Perfect. All right. So this evening, the Jari is very excited. He says, "Oh, yes, tomorrow we'll be there," and he kind of takes you up onto this beautiful hill. It's up on the Weather Hills. It's a steep-sided hillock, one of the westernmost of the hills, and at the top, there are a few tumbled stones that mark a watchtower that likely once stood here long ago. And Jari says, "This is a great place to camp. I suggest we light a fire here. It'll be nice and warm. Trust a dwarf to know a sheltered spot amid the rocks. And get camp started. I'm going to go off and scout. Tomorrow we'll be there and be able to reclaim that treasure." And he stomps off again, off into the growing darkness to go and scout.
So I know that I've seen signs of trolls coming through here.
Yes.
I know that trolls are nocturnal.
Yep.
And I know that lighting a big damn fire at night is generally a bad idea.
Also
when
correct.
When you're trying not to be found by nocturnal creatures.
And he puts you up on a hilltop that used to be a watchtower. Likely anyone from miles around would be able to see a fire up here.
Yeah, this is like the... I'm just going to look at everyone else and say, everything he just said was bullshit. Don't do anything. And then I'm going to try to sneak after him to see if I can see where the hell he's going.
That will be a hunting roll. And you will... Yep, and go ahead and give me that hunting roll. And yeah,
okay.
Just something is definitely not right here. What's everyone else doing? Is anyone going with Malvagil or staying here with the camp? Great success. Excellent. As you follow Jari, you see him. When you first notice him, he's climbing a tree, and the tree's kind of on another hill. And you see him put his hands up to his mouth, and he makes a call. It's a bird call, and it's faint, but you can hear this kind of high-pitched, wailing, mournful call. and he mentioned something about a curlew in his tail. You would recognize this as a ranger. That's the call of a curlew. Like, maybe he was telling the truth. Maybe there's something to it. Maybe he's calling in a curlew, but he's making this bird call from up in this tree, and he does it repeatedly for about 2 minutes. And then he begins to climb down and kind of dusts off his hands and begins to head in your direction.
So I'm gonna hide from him. You know, I don't know if I can use like Swift or whatever to, quickly, hide from him.
Yep.
And
I like it. So if you want to make a stealth roll, and you can spend hope and become inspired by using Swift, that would be 2 bonus die.
Sure. Let me stealth 2 roll.
That's a lot of dice. That's
Oh, that's good.
Excellent.
I needed them all
Yeah, you used
because
every one of them. So you do manage to hide, and Jari walks past you, and he's kind of whistling a little happy tune to himself as he's walking back towards the camp. And as he's walking, you hear him say, "Oh, them dunderheads didn't light the fire. Leave it to a dwarf. He's got to do everything by himself."
So, apropos of nothing, like there's no comparison in Middle Earth, but I believe he's setting us up to be attacked at night.
Yep.
It
And
sounded
so-
like a signal call that he was making. You don't know why anyone would be out here. 1, wanting to light a fire on a hill at night, and 2, making some strange bird call, like a swamp bird, up here in the hills. So
I think that's why he was being dismissive of us dwarves back in Bree. I don't think he wanted to bring dwarves out here to die. But the rest of you guys, yeah.
I don't think he cares.
Yeah.
Let's
So
go.
we agree. This bastard's gotta die.
Let's go back to the camp. So while Adrahil is off tracking Jari, at the camp, Diarmok is sniffling. He's fighting back tears, and you can see that he's having a crisis moment. And he kind of looks at everyone here, and he won't make eye contact with anyone. He's looking at your shoes, and he's like, "You're all very kind. You're all very good to do this journey, and you've all been very good to me, and I thank you for that. I thank you for that now. Thank you for being so kind and good to old Diarmok, who doesn't deserve it."
Thranen will walk over and stand in front of him with his hands on his hips, and he will use his awe skill,
Oh,
and
nice.
he will say, "Spill it."
Oh, sweet.
With hands on your hips or his hips?
Yeah, that's kind of
Important.
This isn't Brokeback Middle Earth.
Well, that's a little forward, but
Do you
whatever. Can I get an extra dice for that?
If you want to spend hope, you can call upon your distinctive feature of fierce and basically intimidate him into spilling the beans. So that would cost you 1 point of hope, and you would get 2 bonus die for that.
Absolutely, I would do that because I'm tired of pussyfooting around here. Okay, so that would be awe that I would roll.
Yes.
Okay. And 2 extra die.
And you got a Gandalf rune. Automatic success.
Nice.
As you say this to him, he just crumbles under your gaze. And he finally breaks down and tells you the truth. My family, they're alive, but they're being held hostage by trolls. If I do not bring them someone to eat, or if Jari warns you that I have failed, then the trolls will kill my children. I don't know how Jari will signal to the trolls, but if they do not receive a message from him, then all is lost. The fault is mine. I brought my family to this desolate land. I led them into the clutches of the trolls. My conscience will no longer permit me to continue. I am already lost, but I will not damn all of you. Please, flee south before the trolls come. Jari is in league with them, You should slip away when he's not watching.
How many trolls?
There are 3. There are 2 ugly brutes. And then there's their mother. She's the worst of all. They dwell in an old ruin in that valley. I've seen it. There's a lake to the east of the ruins. My family's on that lake. There's a raft that's anchored in the center of the lake, and my wife and my children are on that raft. If I do not bring them someone to eat, they'll eat them. And so I'm so sorry for getting you mixed up in this. I thought I could go through with it, but I don't think that I can.
Well, while I don't forgive you, I do understand that family is first. We would do many wretched things when it comes to our family and protecting them.
Thank you, my friend. And he kind of pauses as he says the word friend. No, I've not earned that yet. But thank you. And then he looks kind of past your shoulder and he can hear that whistling sound. He says, Jari's coming back, please. I told you nothing. Please, just go now, quickly. I'll tell him that you had a change of heart and you slipped off.
Maybe we'll feed Jari to him.
Oh. And you see his shoulders kind of stiffen up and he says, I think we did choose the right folk to come on this journey, only Jari didn't know that they weren't the best for him, but the best for me. And he actually begins to smile a little bit at seeing hope for the first time in many days. As Jari comes in, he's like, well, don't just stand about. Get the fire lit. I'm cold. And he starts to grab some firewood to go stack in a ring of stones that's here amongst the rubble. What does Furor do as Jari comes in and begins to build a fire?
So would Furor have heard this tale that just
Yeah, I think so.
Guillermo
I think it would have been free news for everyone that was listening.
So I think Furor will he wants to observe Jari, or it's Jari, right? The dwarf?
Yeah, Jari.
Yeah, Jari for now. Just observe him and not do much. He's just going to pull out his pipe and perhaps lean against a stone and just watch him for a while. He doesn't want to let him know that the game is up.
Do you want to make an insight roll? You can...
Could I do awareness?
Yeah. I will let you do awareness. Does your pipe... Does that...
No, but I can use my ring.
Oh, yeah. So, tell us about your ring. So this is something, since this is going to come into play during the campaign. So this ring belonged to your grandfather, correct?
Yes, he found it during his adventuring days, and before Furor had headed out to explore the wilds, it was given to him as a gift, and it's now his treasured ring, and it gives him a boon on awareness and riddles.
So not just a boon, it gives you 2 dice bonus, because, so much like Malvagil's spear, this is a magic item that was found in a hoard during an adventure that I ran with you earlier. And this is a wondrous item, which means it has 2 blessings. The first blessing is for awareness, the second is for riddle. So you can get a bonus of 2 dice on an awareness or a riddle roll, or you can spend a point of hope and get a magical success, which means it automatically succeeds, but there is some sort of something that happens and people around will know that wasn't normal, that was something magical. Like, Gandalf telling Bilbo, he's not trying to rob him, and it's like he looms large and it gets dark and becomes menacing. That sort of thing would happen. So you can't do it secretly. People would know that you did it through magic. So you can do an automatic success by spending a point of hope, or you can just use your ring to give you a 2 dice bonus to an awareness roll.
I will use the hope for the automatic success, and then I can still roll for.
Yeah, so you will still roll in case you get sixes, in case you get special success, which you got one. So excellent. So it says failure. It's a success with a 6.
Definitely needed that hope. I rolled an Eye of Sauron.
Yeah. So tell me how this magical success happens. What do you do? And I'll let you narrate that for me.
Sure. So I think I sit back against a rock and I watch him come into camp, and perhaps I just focus for a moment on the ring, and it's a ring that has a serpent with 2 heads, and I guess the gemstones in the eyes of the serpents will begin to glow red as I call on the magic in the ring, and that will grant me success on that roll.
Excellent. Now, what are you specifically looking for?
I just want to see if I can glean any information from Jari as he comes back into camp about if he's aware that we might be onto him, or if if it seems like we might be nearing these supposed trolls, and if there's any telltale signs that could give that away.
Jari, you notice that he's rather irritated that the fire hasn't been lit, and he's never done this before. The other nights, it's like, yeah, get the fire going. He's happy to sit around and shoot the breeze and talk about the treasure. But tonight, he seems like agitated that this fire hasn't been lit, and it's already getting dark, he says. We don't have a fire. How are we going to see? How are we going to stay warm and cook our food? But he's never done that before. And so that's something that you're very much aware of. And he looks at you, and he looks at your hand and sees those serpent eyes, and he looks at your face. Where did you get that? And he points at your hand.
Well, Jari, don't concern yourself with it. It was a gift. Nothing to worry yourself about.
No, I'm not worried. What I'm thinking is everyone look, and what this fine dwarf has on his hand. There'll be that and more in me great uncle's hoard, sure to be overflowing with magical items for each and every one of us. Oh, we're going to be rich tomorrow. In fact, it's but a short walk from here. We can sleep in, get a good night's sleep, rise, whenever we choose. A 2-hour walk, we'll be there. So definitely no need to worry. In fact, I think we could even perhaps open up this little bottle I've been carrying around. And he goes over to his pack and he pulls out a little bottle of alcohol and takes a swig from it, wipes his mouth with the back of his hand, and he holds it out to Frore. Take a drink, my friend.
Oh, well, Jari, I must decline. I want to keep my wits about me if we're going to be traveling into potentially dangerous areas.
What kind of dwarf won't take a drink on the night before a great venture like this? 'Tis bad luck, don't you know it? And you can give me a riddle roll, if you like. Well, that's terrible. It is bad luck. Typically, if a dwarf offers you a toast, it's bad luck to refuse, especially during a great venture or the eve of a battle. He looks at you rather suspiciously, and you catch him, since you got a magical success, you catch him kind of looking at Diarmok really quickly, as though suspicious for just a moment, and Diarmok looks straight down at the ground and won't make eye contact with him. He's like, well, if you've not the stomach for it, perhaps you have. Thraden, here, take a drink. And he hands you the bottle.
Oh, no thank you, sir.
Why?
I too want to make sure that I am alert. I'm going to be first on watch.
Did I hire myself a bunch of women? Come on, surely you'll drink. And he points at Malvagil and kind of shakes the bottle up in your face. It's not venom I'm giving you.
A little strange. The more you protest, friend, the more it does seem like venom.
Look here, and he takes a big drink, swishes it around, gargles it for a minute, and then swallows it down. It's not poison at all. It's fine. Where's the other one? Where's the other fellow? And he begins to get a little nervous looking around, not seeing Adrahil. Did he leave? Diarmok, where'd he go? And Diarmok trembles for a moment and then says, "Oh, he went hunting," he said. Hunting? It's dark. He's gonna step in a hole and snap his leg. We won't have enough people to carry the treasure out. Oh, this is bad luck indeed. First you won't take a drink, and now one of the tall fellows has gone and got himself lost. I'll have to go and find him. You stay here and get that fire lit." And he turns around and stomps off into the brush. Does anyone stop him? All right. He heads off. Adrahil, you will, assuming you're heading back to camp stealthily, you'll probably see Jari kind of stomping in your direction, muttering about, the cowardly lot that he brought with him, and that it's hardly even worth his time.
Well, I am actually, I'm basically setting traps out here.
Ooh, excellent. You set a snare kind of on the path that he took?
Yeah.
Give me.
We're on top of a hill, very easily seen. I did not hear anything about the family and the raft and the stuff like that, but I should be able to see which direction. Based on where he was sending the call to and everything, which direction the ambush is going to come from, and I'm basically just going to try to head that off, I guess.
So, if you went over to that tree where he was at, I would assume, since you were being investigative, that you would have gone over to the tree. From there, if you looking up at, since you're taller than Jari is, you don't need to climb the tree, but you can see off in the distance. You can see a valley, and it's not far. It's maybe a couple hours from there, maybe like 3 or 4. You can see where there's a little bowl, and it's filled with mist as the night begins to set, and you can see the moonlight reflecting on the mist. It looks like a great white lake, but you know that it's just some of the same fog that shrouds the ground during these warm summer nights. That looks like a valley that maybe he's taking you to, and you can see that there are game trails that kind of go from here to there, and it looks as though there's maybe a bit of a ravine that heads into that valley. And,
so yeah, I'm gonna on like the easier approaches, I'm gonna try to put nothing obvious, but maybe put some if I can find some sharper rocks, for them to step on, something that will make them make noise involuntarily, but not necessarily let them know that we're onto them.
Yeah, give me a hunting roll to set some of those traps.
Sure. Will my skinning knife help me here at all?
Yes, because you're probably going to maybe sharpen some sticks and maybe cut some sticks to make triggers for snares, things like that. I would say yes. So if you spend a point of hope, you don't need to spend a point of hope. You'll just get a bonus die on that.
Okay. So hunting, I need you, and I'll get 1 bonus die. I'll do this.
And the Eye of Sauron is not good, but the 5 plus the 9 that you got will be more than ample, since your difficulty is 12. In fact, I bumped, mostly for one-shots, I keep the difficulty, like the base target at 18. I bumped it up to 20, since we're going to be taking these guys through the campaign. So it's 10% harder than it normally will be, but you guys are going to get experience points that you can begin to accrue and improve. And so we're doing it the hard way, but also the way it's supposed to be done for a campaign. And this is kind of the prequel to the campaign. So
yeah, and Adrahil is because of his Ranger of the North, his strength-based skills are
super great. But I think your wits are like terrible, aren't they?
What?
Right? Your listen roll. What? Who said that? Who are you people? Yeah, your wit score is 2. So you need to roll an 18 or higher if you have no bonuses. So that's tough even with like skill training, but it's not impossible. One Gandalf rune and you've got it. So you set up quite a few areas. Along the path, you maybe put some sharpened sticks and rocks that maybe someone will step on and howl and alert you that they're coming. Probably set a few tripwires, maybe a few snares here and there. It takes you a good hour or so to get all this done, but by the time you're done, you feel confident that you've got this set up, that nothing is going to be able to get the jump on you, especially if you are all being watchful up here on the hill. Now, Jari you can hear him stomping and kind of heading your direction as you're setting these things. And you're probably between the tree and that valley, and kind of as you were scouting and looking and finding places to put these traps. And you see him go back up in that tree. And as he gets up, he's just swearing and grumbling and very upset. And just, things are not going the way he had hoped. And he gets up in the tree and he lets out that bird call a couple times.
I'm not going to let him do that.
Okay. So as he gets up in the tree and tries to make the call, what do you do?
So as he gets back up in the tree, I'm going to call out to him, Jari, you're doing a good job of being a lookout here, but I think it's probably best if we stay together. I heard that splitting the party is a bad idea. Try making sure we have a good night's sleep while we go back to camp.
As you call out his name, he says, "Ooh!" and it loses his grip and kind of bounces a few branches and then plops out of the tree and gets up. Bloody hell! I didn't know you was out here. They said you was hunting. Oh, this is not a place to hunt. No. Go the other way. Go the other way, not this way. There's nothing this way to hunt. Oh my goodness.
No, sure there is. Look at these game trails, I'm sure there are deer that use this path. Maybe if we're lucky, we might even get a boar.
I think I've actually got I've got a stew cooking back at camp. If we head back there, the stew will probably be ready. The vegetables nice and soft, and the meat all savory. We don't even need to hunt. We've got enough food for tonight. We don't want to burden ourselves down with excess weight. We need to save room to carry all that gold out of here.
Yeah, so I've heard, but why don't you? I'll pull out some herbs from my hunting pouch and everything. Here, add these to the stew. I'm sure that'll give it a good kick. But I'm still going to do what I do, which is hunt. Get us provisioned. We've got a long walk back too that we need to make sure that we have provisions for.
He gives you a look, and he pauses, and he looks at you, and it's almost like he's giving you the look to say, like, this is the last time I'll see you. Good luck and goodbye. But he doesn't say it out loud, but that's just sort of the look he gives you, like he doesn't expect you'll still be around in the morning. And then he nods his head. Very well. Maybe I can get those dolts to get that fire lit. I don't know how they're cooking the stew without a fire. And
it does seem hard to do.
They're all holding the pot, heating it up with their bodies. I don't know if I want that stew now.
Well, I'm.
These
I'll leave it.
These herbs will make it taste good at least, even if it's cold. And he stomps up the hill, and he's just letting out this again steady stream of profanities. Every now and then he spits, kicks at rocks. He looks back a few times at you and just shakes his head. I knew I shouldn't have picked one of these. I should have went for some of those merchants. And then he heads back up the hill. Everyone else back up at the hill, as after Jari left, what is Malvagil doing?
Probably, well, if not following him, then I think he'd probably just be trying to, prepare the camp. We know about trolls. I don't know.
You would know that trolls will not go out under daylight. That
right.
The sunlight is deadly to them, and that the night is the time of the troll.
Yeah, we were expecting an attack, so maybe it's just kind of fortifying, preparing.
What about Furor?
I think seeing the ranger on alert for will see if he can help Melvigil do that. He's very distrustful of Jari now, so.
And Thranen, what are you doing?
I'm trying to act nonchalant. I will start getting, the rest of the camp ready, but kind of knowing that something bad might happen tonight. I'm also kind of making sure that we can make a run if we need to. It's kind of hard to say because since we're not all together,
Right.
we don't have the information that Adriel has. So I'm going to bide my time and wait for the dwarf to come back.
Diarmok speaks up, and he walks over to Thranen and says, Are you not going to leave? Are you not going to save yourselves?
That decision will have to be made as a group.
I can tell you where it's going to happen. It ain't here. It's further down. It won't be tonight. It'll be tomorrow. There's a ravine, and Jari will take you down into that ravine, saying it's the stealthy approach. The trolls will come out of their hiding place. One in front, one behind. And those that they don't smash and crush and kill, they'll stuff in a bag. I know this because it's what they done to me family. I saw one of them trolls take me little boy's arm, tear it right off of his body. He ate the arm right there when me boy cried, and I could do nothing. Jari pulled me away and told me he had a job for me, to keep the trolls fed, and that maybe the rest of me family would be saved. You'd best...
So what was Jari doing out here?
I don't know what first brought Jari out here. Probably the same as me. He probably come out and got caught by them trolls and made a deal. I know he keeps whatever the trolls don't want. Money, things like that. He was eyeballing your friend's ring. He probably means to take that once the trolls have had him. Jari, that'll be his payment, it'll be that ring. And the other, his spear, fine spear. He'll be taking that spear too. He comes out here to earn the easy way. I'm out here to save me family. I'll not see what happened to me son happen to any of you. And Thranen, upon hearing this story of his boy having his arm torn off and eaten, this is going to be a shadow test. You need to make a valor roll. And your character sheet, valor, will be up at the top.
Yes.
If you pass this roll, then you will not take a point of shadow. If you fail, you'll take a point of shadow, and this will... it doesn't lower your heart score, but if your heart score ever equals your shadow value, then you will become miserable, where all of your... or if you roll the Eye of Sauron, rather than being a 0, it will be an automatic failure. And if your heart ever equals 0, then you become miserable, and all of your rolls are ill-favored, meaning you roll 2 12-sided die and take the worst of them. So give me a valor roll as you try to push down that sense of fear.
Can I spend a point of hope to get an extra dice?
You can, and you can use probably, well, I don't think you could use fierce or proud at hearing this. So, but you can spend hope.
Okay.
Oh, nice. Great success.
Yay.
So you take no shadow. In fact, you can use that bonus if you want to use this moment to maybe comfort or embolden Diarmok into doing the right thing. I'll let you decide if you want to do that.
I will put my hand on his shoulder, and I will tell him to take heart. After all, it's just one troll and a couple of mama's boys. There's only 3 of them.
But
And
I've never swung a sword in my life. I've never hurt anyone.
well, your talents can be used as far as influence and convincing. You know more about what's going on than I do, and you can use that when the time comes.
If
Because Jari's got to be, he has to be confronted.
if we don't light this fire, Jari says, if the trolls don't know that we're unawares of them, they'll eat my family tonight. So, is it okay if we get the fire lit? They won't attack tonight. It'll be tomorrow. That'll tell them to anticipate us coming tomorrow. But if they don't get the signal from Jari, there's another signal he does. Some sort of animal call. If they don't get the signal, they'll know something's up.
Well, Daremark, there's also the consideration with your story that you said they will attack tomorrow. Everybody knows that trolls don't come out in the daytime.
Well, Jari.
So
Jari
don't think
he means to delay us. He's going to sleep late, and he'll get us lost. You see, so we get there at night.
I'm having a hard time believing it.
All right.
What can you do to show your loyalty to us?
You can use me as bait. I can be the bait in your trap to get these trolls. They'll come for me. If they kill me, I deserve it. If they don't, well, it might give you an opening to get at these trolls. Perhaps we could just go and steal my family away, not even fight the trolls. No,
we can.
They're too smart for that, I think.
You keep raising red flags for me, my friend. Everyone knows that trolls are not smart.
Well, they outsmarted me.
Are these special trolls?
Well,
that may be a you thing.
the mother, she's very smart. She's not one to simply stumble into a trap. Her boys, they're as dumb as rocks, but the mother, she's the one to watch out for.
In a situation like this, I have to assume the best of you, but I must warn you, if this goes tits up, we're gonna take our vengeance out on you instead of the trolls.
I would be deserving of it for what
yes,
I've done
you would.
for bringing you out here. And he goes and sits down, kind of looks at the firewood and lets out a sigh, and then opens up his pack and takes out a little piece of cheese and starts to nibble at it, as though he is resigned to the fact that there will be no fire. And so come what may, it's out of his hands. Malvagil and Furor, have you anything to add to this scene before Jari gets back? All right. You hear the cussing from the bottom of the hill as Jari works his way up. "Light the damn fire! What are you waiting for? It'll be dawn before my stew is cooked. I've got fresh herbs from the other fellow. We'll make it taste real nice." "Hey, Djarmak, can you not hear me?" And Djarmak doesn't say anything and just turns his back. Jari comes up to the top of the hill and looks at Djarmak sitting there with his back to him, and he picks up a rock and throws it at him, hits him right in the back, and Djarmak lets out a little yelp. And Djarmak says, I won't be lighting your fire. It's not my job to do it. I won't do it. These fellows here won't have a fire. I think I agree with them." And he says, "Jari, you think good and hard about what you just said to me. Are you saying what I think you're saying?" And Djarmak doesn't say anything. "Well, so be it. Let's just go to sleep. We'll have a good breakfast in the morning." And he goes and sets out his bedroll over in a little sheltered spot near a tree. And lays on it, just huffing and puffing. He's basically just pouting over there on his bedroll. What is Furor doing?
Well, if Furor's still wanted to survey the hill to see if we were beset in the night, what the best defensible spots would be now that we're headed back. He'll see if Malvagil would help him to subdue Jari once we've gone to sleep. He thinks that perhaps if we are able to question him, we might be able to get some information out of him, and it is only one against the group of us.
A grand idea. I thought it was going to come to blows there for a moment.
Adrahil, as you are out and about, you are alert to something potentially happening tonight, and you can see down in that valley, coming up from that ravine, you see two large shapes. And you have probably seen a troll before from a distance, and these are definitely two stone trolls. Let me just take us to a combat page. I'll get some more tokens out here for us.
They've got a troll.
They've brought a cave troll.
I have once again successfully split the party.
Right? Well, they aren't aware of you yet. Let me pull out some stone trolls here. There's two of them. The good news is they are not in. They're not going to be able to ambush you because everyone is anticipating something happening. But you see them first, and they are probably an hour off from getting to your position.
Oh. Okay. Then I will I will quickly return to camp and tell them that there's a couple of stone trolls coming in. And do I know if trolls would have night blindness from being in the dark and then a bright fire?
You can give me a roll for that. That's going to be like a lore roll.
Oh, absolutely.
With your target number of 18. Hey, Gandalf.
Oh, yeah.
That's a success. Nice. You don't know for sure, but you think that it's probably possible. You know that fire would affect your night vision, and it's likely that Troll's vision is attuned to the darkness, and that anything bright is probably going to affect them.
So
Jari's got a bottle of alcohol.
So here's what I'm suggesting. What if we made a small fire and had, our guides, sitting around the fire, along with one of the other dwarves that will take Jari's alcohol, and when the trolls get near, throw the alcohol into the fire to give it a bright, sudden explosion, and that'll give us a chance to ambush the trolls. We can be on the outskirts of the camp and ambush them.
That sounds like a good plan.
As you come up the hill and kind of mention that you saw 2 stone trolls coming, you hear Jari kind of chuckling in his bedroll. He's pretending to be asleep, but you hear him and he starts snoring again. But you heard a little laugh there.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to let Jari play asleep, and hopefully, very soon he'll be playing dead. But yeah.
All right, so let's go over the plan. So the plan, so the trolls are going to come up, and then someone's going to throw the alcohol in the fire. Where is everyone going to be?
So we've got the supposed patriarch of the family.
Yep. Allegedly.
Yeah. And we've got one of our dwarf companions sitting with him that has the alcohol. We're going to wake Jari up and have him tend the fire to keep it burning. And then the other ranger and myself and the remaining dwarf will be ready to ambush the trolls once the fire goes large and they are caught off guard.
So up here, there's quite a few places where you could hide. This is like kind of the ruins of a watchtower. There's a lot of hide behind some fallen columns or a big chunk of stone wall or something you could hide behind. So it's not going to be overly difficult to do that. But who is going to be out in the open? Which dwarf wants to volunteer for that role, or does anyone have a different plan?
Well, Afror would volunteer to do this. He then does have a bow, so if it's going to be the 3 of you up in close combat, he's much better with his bow.
Deller.
Diarmok likes this idea of luring the trolls in, and he did agree to be bait, and so he says, I will do this. I will stand near the fire. I'll give you a signal when they draw near, Fror, so that you know. I'll scratch my nose thusly, and he kind of scratches his nose to show you what the signal will be. Do you go wake up Jari? Or do you... who goes to get him to tend to the fire?
Thrainin will.
Thrainin, as you get down to Jari, you probably shake him, or being a dwarf, maybe you just kick him in the leg or something.
Yeah.
And he kind of snorts. It's not dawn yet. What are you waking me up for? I was in the middle of a great dream, of a room filled with gold that you and I were carrying out, and we still can, tomorrow.
Well, I just woke up from a dream, too. It was a dream where we were getting attacked by trolls.
Oh,
that you led us to. Get your ass up.
Are you trying to... Do you want to make like an awe roll to intimidate him?
Oh, yeah, let's do that.
Okay. Oh, Gandalf rune. All right. So automatic success. He says, "What's this about some sort of deception you're saying? An attack, an ambush by trolls? What? No, you've got it all wrong. You've been listening to that Diarmok. I'm for thinking that guy's a coward. He's filling your head full of all sorts of nonsense. Trolls. Why, there ain't been no trolls in this area for who knows how many generations.
The time for truth is now.
You want the truth? You can't handle the truth. No, he doesn't say that.
They're irresistible.
Right? Just had to go with that one.
Yeah.
I'm sure some of us knew the reference, I hope. A few good men among us, anyway, probably knew it.
Yeah.
Is the objective, is it going to be to try and tie him up? Or are you going to... What do you want to do with Jari, Thrainin?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to want to take control of him. I don't want to have to kill him.
Let me pull him out here. This might be a little brawl here. Let me get Jari.
We could bind him and set him near the fire. That way he can't go out and warn these trolls.
That's what I'm thinking. And I'm trying to, like, kind of signal Fror, the fellow dwarf, too.
And I would be near the fire, so I will come and stand next to Thrainin.
Jari, if you want to lay hands on him, it's going to be a brawl roll. If you want to brawl with him, we can jump you guys into a little scuffle here. To do that, you're just going to target him and then click on your brawling skill. Actually, will it let you do? Yeah, that'll let you do it.
Okay.
Can I aid Thrainin in that if I try and hold him down, or?
Yeah,
grab
so you can have a bonus die on that.
I will grab him by his beard and headbutt him.
Oh, nice. Ooh, that's
Or
like as bad as you could roll.
Shit.
Oh, wow. Let's get a little combat music here, not hope and memory. So you grab his beard and try and pull his face into yours, but he lowers his head and he's going to try to butt you right in the chin with his forehead. This is going to say spear, but it's not a... let's see. Actually, no, I can't because we're not technically in combat, so I'll just give him a roll. No, so you guys are kind of tussling back and forth. Now, Fror, do you want to get in on this little dwarven scuffle?
Yeah, I'm going to. Fror is going to try and grapple Jari and restrain him.
Give me a brawling roll. Just make sure you target him, and then on your brawling score. Wow. So basically you guys are just kind of swinging, kicking, punching. No blows of significance are landing. There's a lot of commotion going on. And while this is going on, let me have... so you're not in hiding. Let me have Malvagil and Adrahil give me an awareness roll. Nice. So Malvagil, you hear the howling of someone that just stepped on a sharp stick. And Adrahil, you as well. You can hear that not far off, maybe 15 minutes away, these trolls are making their way up, and they have begun to stumble into your carefully laid traps. And you hear the rending of branches as one of them rips a small sapling from the ground and snaps it in half in anger, probably over their knee or over their shoulders, just breaking this tree just to vent some anger at the pain that they've got in their foot. And you know that these are no mere highway robbers, but these are going to be fearsome opponents.
So
Yeah.
I suggest that we knock out the one guy.
Well, I think these dwarves are trying, but they can't do it.
They're slap battles.
Let's do one more round of these, kind of pillow fighting here with the dwarves. So I'll let Thranen and Fror give me some brawling rolls. If one of you can succeed, you can knock this guy.
Jeez.
I should have asked, do I get a bonus die if there's the two of us trying to restrain him?
I think so. I think we could do that. One of you holds him while the other one hits him in the gut. There we go. Okay, so Fror, how do you knock Jari senseless?
So I think I just want to get behind him and pull his hands behind his back and pin him to the ground while Thranen does the job and renders him harmless while we tie him up and bind him near the fire.
So a couple of blows to the forehead, and maybe you pick up his head and smash it down against a rock. And then to ensure that he's unconscious, you kind of put your sweaty armpit right over his face, and he writhes and wriggles a moment, and then like chloroform, he's just unconscious, just from the odor. Little dwarven love potion there. He is...
Kick his ass, sea bass.
Which one of you dead men? Just use a salt shaker. You've got Jari unconscious. He is... he's still breathing. He's not dead. But he is definitely, he's out. You've got a few minutes if you want to tie him up with some rope. You'd have rope available. It'd be no big deal to get him tied up. Do you gag him
Stuff a rag
as well?
in his mouth. Yeah.
Perfect. Get him gagged and tied up. Do you leave him here in the clearing, or do you drag him off into the dark?
I was thinking we might put him by the fire.
We'll see that there's no dwarf. They'll get suspicious, so I think that's best.
So maybe like with his back to the way that they're going to approach, so they don't see him lolled over. You prop him up, do the best that you can, and then Diarmok sits facing Jari, looking kind of over his shoulder to give you that signal when the trolls approach. Let's have everyone that is hiding give me a stealth roll with one bonus die.
Gonna be tough.
Uh-oh.
Ooh, what was that? Ah, damn it.
That was terrible. That was a 4.
That's a lot of them on everything.
There we go.
Oh.
Well, Adrahil can hide. The other two, you think you're well hidden, both Malvagil and Thranen. But, Thranen's boot is sort of sticking out from behind a rock. And maybe Malvagil, the tip of your spear is maybe poking up slightly. You think it's hidden, but they might see it. There's a chance. There's a good chance they're going to be just focused on what's going on in the fire, and so they may not notice it. But sure enough, you hear the approach, and they're trying to be stealthy. But trolls are not stealthy at all. And one of them breaks off and begins to head around the base of the hill. They want to come from two different directions. So these are not just dumb trolls. They have a plan. And this has served them well in the ravine, probably less well up here. So the first thing that we can do, when they show up, when we start combat, we'll get an opening volley, but then everyone will assume a stance. So there's going to be a forward stance where you are pressing the offense at the expense of your defense, an open stance where there's no advantage or disadvantage, a defensive stance where you choose to fight more defensively, or there's rearward where you try and stay out of range and use a ranged weapon. And to be in rearward, all the enemies have to be engaged with somebody else. So if a troll is not engaged, then you can't take rearward because he could just go up and engage you. So we'll get to the engagement in a second, but for now, as these trolls come up, they see what's going on, and Diarmok quickly scratches his nose, and you see his hand is trembling. He's giving you the signal. And Furor, you are around the fire, right?
Yes, so when I see the signal, I'll make sure the trolls are near, and then I will smash this this bottle in the fire and create a large flash of
There's
flame.
a huge plume, and in fact, you would know to turn your head away and not to look at this. But you hear the howling from both directions, from east and west, of these two trolls, as the flame, the brightness burns into their eyes, temporarily stunning them. So we're going to go into combat. Let me drag us all to combat here. Alright. So the first thing that we will do is going to be the opening volley. So everyone that has a ranged weapon can attack first. You'll just need to target a troll and then click on your weapon, not on your weapon skill, but on your weapon, and it will automate all of that. So we'll start with Malvagil if you have a ranged weapon. If not, we will go down the line, which next would be Edrahil.
I've got 2 spears, so I could throw into the spears, but realistically, no. The spear that I've got is 2-handed, so I'm holding that.
So, so the Talon of Theradilion is 2-handed. Your other spear, you could throw that and then just use your long spear 2-handed, if you want to throw a spear here.
Well, I wasn't planning on using the regular spears, so I guess why not?
Yeah. So to throw it, just do like a 1-handed spear, throwing it that way. And then you can add a bonus die because these guys are stunned. And if you want to spend hope, you can spend hope.
Might as well use hope. Yeah. Oh.
Great success. So it should have pulled up a screen asking how you want to do this. You can do a heavy blow, which will add your strength score to the damage. It will offer to make it a piercing blow. You can't make it a piercing blow, so you got a 0 on the feat die, and it has to be a 10 or higher. And you could only add, I think it's a 3 on that. So the highest you could get it would be 3. So you'll want to probably do the heavy blow. And then when you hit, when you accept that, then it will show me the damage here. Excellent. 13 damage to that troll. That is a huge wound. Let me do it this way. And next is Adrahil. And you can do a ranged attack.
Yeah. And I get 1 extra bonus because I'm hidden and stunned or whatever, so...
And that is a success. So deal 3 damage to that guy. And then next, we will go to Furor and then Thranin. So Furor, I know you have a bow.
Yes, I do.
And that is a miss. Next will be Thranin, if you have a ranged weapon.
No, I do not.
Okay. The trolls do not either, so then we will go into the main combat phase. So the first thing that we need to do is to choose our stances. So there's forward stance, open, defensive, and rearward. So it looks like Malvagil is going to go forward. What is Adrahil going to choose?
I'm going to try to go forward. I'm trying to figure out how to.
So I can do it on your character. I can right click you and choose forward stance. And then I'm just going to put you up here so that we know you're forward. And then Thranin, are you forward or open?
I'll go ahead and I'll go forward.
Forward. Okay. And then Furor, are you defensive or rearward?
Yeah, I changed my mind. Looking at my axe skill, I'm going to go defensive.
Okay.
I will be much more useful that way.
All right. So we'll start with Malvagil. You were charge in, and you can make your attack.
Well, that's fair. I just hit the guy. I'll strike him with my real spear. Maybe. Don't want to
Your
get ahead
magical
of myself.
spear.
Am I taking that bonus die off? Because the surprise one.
Nope. So they have not gone yet. So they'll still be surprised this round. This is still the first round of combat. Excellent. Deal 6 damage to that guy as you stick him with the spear.
I'll take it.
Excellent. And then we'll go to Adrahil.
All right, I think I want to burn a hope one of those two.
Okay.
Good thing I did.
Great success. So then you can choose. What was your feat die? Was a 1. Yeah. So you'll want to do.
Yes.
There we go. 14 points of damage. Nice. You guys have this guy. He is more than bloodied. And then we'll go to Thranen and then Furor.
Okay. Thranen will also use a point of hope
Okay.
on his attack, and I want to go for the hamstring.
Now, do you have? Is it you that have? You have fierce, so you can be inspired if you are battling fiercely here. So that
I
will,
am.
That
I'm
will. So you
very
can.
fierce.
If you click on the use hope, it will show up the inspired. Click on that so it's dark, and then that will add the extra on there as well. And then you can add the bonus die. Oh yeah. Oh, Gandalf Rune is a success. Automatically succeed. Excellent. And I think you clicked on your axe skill, not on your axe itself.
Oh,
I'm guessing because it didn't show me the damage, but I can pull that up. Were you using that two-handed or one-handed?
one-handed because I have a shield.
Oh, perfect. So that is 6 points
Yeah.
of damage. All right, and then Furor.
Well, being a bit more reserved and defensive, I will go in with my axe, one-handed.
Oh, nice.
That is a great success. And you got a 5. You can't make that a piercing blow because you wouldn't be able to add enough, but you could do a heavy blow. And did you click on your weapon or just on your
I
skill?
forgot. I forgot to use my
Okay.
actual axe.
I can look
That's
up
my
and
fault.
see.
Sorry
what
about
it was.
that.
That's okay. So that is going to be 5 points plus your strength, which is 7, so that's 12. And you have nope, you do not. So 12 damage. Ooh,
Still good.
he's down to 6 hit points. But it's the troll's turn. Now, these trolls have a couple of kind of distinctive features of their own. They're called fell abilities. And one of them is Hatred Dwarves. When targeting the object of their hate, all attacks are favored. And so the one that is badly wounded is going to go after Thranen, and the other one is going to go after Furor. And they will be favored on these rolls. These trolls, let's do this guy first. So this is after Thranen. He comes at you with a large chunk of tree that he is clubbing you with.
Jesus.
So he is
So
going
do I.
he's going to make this a piercing blow on you. So you're going to take 6 damage. So I'm going to take the 6 off of you. You need to make a protection roll. So that is on the chat bar you can click
armor?
on. So on the chat bar you can click on protection roll test and it will do it automatically.
Okay. And are there any bonuses for the helm and
It's all
shield, or is it?
It should
it's
all be factored in.
there? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I need 16. That's
You are protected. Yeah. So you
Ooh,
managed
look at
to avoid taking a wound. So if you take a wound, that's really bad. If you take 2 wounds,
Yeah.
you're dead. So yeah, very good. The other one is going after Fror, the one that is not injured. And he comes at you with a club, and this will also be favored.
I am defensive, so I believe that gives them.
Yeah, so it'll take away one of his bonuses, and he fails. So he needed to beat a 15, which is your parry score, and he rolled a 14. So we go to the next round. Does anyone? One thing I forgot. Okay, sorry, I was talking about the fell abilities. These guys have what is called. Where is it? Is it not hatred dwarves? Okay. Nope, that's it. That's it. Okay, perfect. We go to the next round. Does anyone want to change their stance?
No.
Okay. Then Malvagil is up first. Oh, nice.
Redemption.
So that is, he needs to make a protection roll. So let's see what he gets. He is protected, so his tough hide is proof against that spear thrust. But he will still take 6 damage. And this is the troll that only had 6. Now he has hideous toughness. So when he, let's see. When an attack inflicts damage to the creature that would cause it to go to 0 endurance, it causes a piercing blow instead. So he's going to get another piercing blow against him. Then, if the creature is still alive, its endurance score is set back at half its maximum rating. And so that's going to bump him back up to 30. Oops. Sorry. And then, but you have a chance to wound him here. So he needs to make another protection test. And he is protected against that as well. So that did not wound him. But he, that knocked him, so he drops, or he goes back to 30. So you need to get piercing blows to take these guys out. Adrahil, you're up next.
All right. Well, I think I'm going to have to use another hope point, just to be sure.
This would be the time.
And so that gives me 1 for forward, 1 for hope.
Oh,
Wow.
look at all those
Okay,
6s.
so you'll be able to do heavy blow multiple times. So you can't. Let's see. Can you do piercing? Are you using what weapon do
I'm
you have?
using a sword,
So
no, I can't.
well,
I can't get there.
You have 4 of them, which would be 8. Oh, it'd put you at 9. So yeah. So just make 4 heavy blows. So make sure you select all of those as heavy blows, and it will put that damage on there.
Submit.
41 points of damage. Wow. Okay, so that's going to be. He needs to make a protection roll. What is the injury rating of your sword?
Two-handed
18. So he'll make an armor roll and needs to beat an 18. and he gets a great success. No, he does not. He rolled a 13. That is not a success. So he is wounded. So he takes a wound. So they have what's called might. So he drops to 1 might. And one more blow like that will finish him off. All right.
Sure.
Next up is Adrahil.
That was me.
Oh, sorry. Thranen. Thranen, your turn.
Okay. Oh, I got a target. Right.
Yeah, 41 damage is crazy good. Oh, it's a lot of dice. Extraordinary success. So you got 2 6s. So again, you rolled a 1. You can't make that a piercing blow, but you can do heavy blow twice on there.
Yeah, I'll do that.
20 damage. So it drops him to 10. Nice. And then Furor, your turn.
Did Malvagil go?
He did.
Yeah, he went
Oh,
first in
right.
the round.
Yeah, I will just go after this troll then. And can I disengage a troll if it's attacking? Is there like an evade equivalent?
There is. So you basically make an attack roll, and if you succeed rather than doing damage, you get away.
I think I'll just attack him for now, but I will keep that in mind.
That is a success for 5 damage, and that was on the. Let's see, you were attacking the one that everyone's beating up on, or the other one?
The one that's attacking me.
Okay, that's that guy. So he takes 5. Nice. And now it is the troll's turn. So the one that is attacking you will go again, and this will be favored for him because he does not like dwarves. And he'll get the penalty because of the stance. It'll automatically put that penalty in there. Oh! So because it is... wait, favored? That should have been... oh yeah, so he got a Gandalf rune, which... So only the Eye of Sauron is an automatic success for trolls. So he fails on his attack roll. The other troll is coming in at Thranen. And this troll is wounded, but it's not going to stop him. He swings his club down. He is also favored. As everyone is stabbing him with spears. Oh, man. Okay. We're going to make that a heavy blow and a piercing blow. So, Thranen is going to take 14 damage. So, Thranen is now weary. And then your protection roll, you are protected, but you're going to be weary, so I'm going to mark that on your character. That means if you roll 1s, 2s, or 3s, then they count as 0 when you roll the 6-sided die.
Okay.
You can drop gear in order to reduce your load, to try and get it down lower than that. What is your endurance at right now? So you're at
9.
Yeah, so 9, and your load is
17.
7. Oh, yeah. Shoot. So you'd have to just start dropping everything. Hopefully you're able to not get absolutely crushed here. All right, let's go to the next round. Malvagil. Anyone want to change stance? Okay, Malvagil, you're up. Great success. You can't make it a piercing blow because, again, you rolled a 1 on the feet die, but you can make it a heavy blow. That's going to drop him to 15. Adrahil, you're up next.
All right, I'm kind of getting low on the hope thing. Yeah, so I think I'll skip that particular bonus this time. Continue to swing the sword with both hands.
There we go.
Can't get there.
Does a sword add 2 or is it 1? Sword adds 1. So yeah, you can't make it a piercing blow, but you can do 23 damage. So that's going to make it a piercing blow because that would drop him to 0. So he's going to have to make a protection roll. If he fails this, and it's 18 is your target.
Right, with the as a two-handed. Right.
Yeah, let me adjust this. There we go.
Damn it.
I've got a 19. That will, but he will take the damage.
And he'll heal back up to 30.
Yep, back up to 30. Trolls are awful. All right, Thranen, you are weary, but you're still in the fight.
All right. I'm gonna hit him.
Wow.
Okay.
Nice. That'll work. 20 damage. Okay, he'll need to make a... nope, he doesn't need to make a protection roll. He's down to 10 hit points. And then it is Fror's turn.
Right. Well, I will take another swing with my axe.
Damage. Slowly whittling this guy away. He's down to 50. And it's their turn. So far, Fror has been very fortunate that this guy can't hit him. Maybe it's that defensive stance working for you. He's favored on this roll. Wow. Okay. He misses. Stone Troll number 2 goes after... I think I said Thranen. This time it's after Thranen. Fror has been incredibly lucky. Thranen has been unlucky. You take 6 damage and need to make a protection roll. Oh, Gandalf rune. Sweet. You're still in it? Alright, anyone want to change their stance?
Now, if I wanted to go over and help Fror, would I have to roll to disengage this troll?
So that troll's got 3 people on it, and so he's surrounded. Basically, you would easily be able to slip away and go help your friend.
Okay, I was going to do that last round, but forgot.
Do you want to switch to like a defensive stance or an open stance, or you could? Do you have a ranged weapon? You could even try and slip to rearward and use a ranged weapon.
No,
Nope.
I don't have a ranged weapon, but I will go into defensive.
Okay, I'll switch you to defensive. The Malvagil will be up first.
Let's try again.
Oh, there we go. Okay, and that's a piercing blow, plus you can do additional damage. So it'll automatically be piercing. But you can add the heavy blow.
Nice.
Nice, 15. And if he fails his first protection roll, then he will be dead.
Oh.
Okay, how do you kill this troll?
Well, I mean, he is surrounded, even if maybe one less so now, and we just keep jabbing him. I think I just happened to get something pretty important with the last hit.
He finally falls. His hideous toughness can no longer protect him. Adrahil, as your foe falls, you see the lone remaining troll snarl out in rage. You can go ahead and make your attack on him.
Yeah. So Adderhill will snarl back, and then I'm going to go for trying to, cut his knees out from under him.
Nice.
But we'll see how this works. Hey, I did select a target. Him.
Yeah, he is selected.
Him. Target. There we go.
Nice. Great success. Whittle down those hit points.
Yep.
14. Ooh. A far cry from the 41 or whatever that it was that you dealt him earlier.
I'll never do that amount of damage again.
Nope, ever. Roar, your turn. Oh, well, we went from the best of times to the worst of times. Thranen.
All right. And as I go running over there towards Fror, I'm going to yell at him and I'm going to say, "Upsies!"
Ooh,
And I'm going to springboard off of his back
nice.
up into this troll.
Right into his
And I'm
face.
going to give it everything I got.
Piercing blow here would be fantastic.
I'm just going to keep burning that hope.
Oh. So you needed a 13 and you got it. 20 points of damage. Wow. Okay, he's down to 16. You guys got him whittled down to where he's going to be doing his hideous toughness thing. His turn. This one was attacking Thror and will continue to attack Thror. As you jump up in his face and hack him with your long-hafted axe, he kind of spins around a few times and then tries to smash Thror like hammering a nail into the ground. His great club comes down in a huge arc, slamming in, and that's going to be a heavy blow. 14 damage to Fror. Let me mark that off for you. And I don't think you are weary. What's your load? Nope, your load is 13, so it's close, but not quite. All right, anyone want to change combat stance this round?
Nope.
Okay, Malvagil's up.
Yeah, I moved to open.
To open? Okay, I'll switch you there. Oh, you already got it. Perfect.
All right. Assuming I can reach him, I'll just keep jabbing, I suppose.
Yeah, so he's a large target. You can have up to 6 people targeting a large target. If it was man-sized, you could have 3 people engaged with him.
Whoa!
Oh! Okay, so this is going to be a piercing blow because it was a Gandalf rune. So then you can do double heavy blow, and then you'll still get a piercing blow on him. And you may force 2 piercing blows. 24. Yep. So it's going to be 2 piercing blows. So he would drop to 0. So he's going to go to 30. And then he has to make 2 protection rolls. You could kill him outright here if he fails them both.
You just didn't see it coming.
No.
Right in the bum.
Oh, he is protected on the first one. The second one, he is protected on the second one, but he's at 30. We go to Adrahil, open stance. And if you guys don't want to attack, there is the combat task listed on here. You could do that alternate thing rather than attack. You could intimidate foe, rally comrades, whatnot. 5
Yeah, really, enheartened isn't going to happen.
No. Not with your character.
No.
Fror, you're up next.
I'm going to disengage this troll.
Okay, so you'll need to. Well, actually, he's got 3 other people on him, so you can back away. You want to go to rearward?
Yep, and I'm going to take out my bow and
Okay.
use that instead.
I'll put you in rearward. Okay, you can take a shot there if you like. Oh, nope. Thranen, you are up.
I'm running out of hope here. Bullshit.
You got a 1. Oh boy. Stone troll.
The good news is the other dwarf walked away from him, so now he only hates you.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he's just gonna pick on you. Oh yeah, shoot. Till he gets you down, then he'll start going after the others. And he fails. Excellent. All right. Anyone want to change their stance? Otherwise, Malvagil's up.
No.
Nice.
No.
6 damage. Man, had you gotten a 6 on that, could have made it a penetrating roll. Piercing blow. And Adrahil, you're up next.
Well, it doesn't matter. I'm going to go back to open just because I wanted to get the extra die.
Yeah.
Because I think we need it.
All the 6s we can get.
Doesn't matter.
5 damage. You felt it. Thranen, you're up next.
Okay.
Axe to the back of the leg. Ooh. Oh.
Damn it.
Almost. It's that weary. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Fror, take a shot. Get a piercing blow. You got it. So you can make that a piercing blow with that 6.
It did not give me the option to. I would like to.
Did it give you the option to do heavy blow?
It didn't give me the screen.
Did you click your bow skill, not your actual bow
Yes,
weapon?
I did. That was with my actual bow.
Huh. Let's see. Okay, well, the injury is 14, so let me give him... and that will do 3 damage. So let me give him 3 damage, and then let me give him a protection roll. And the injury rating is a 14. He fails. He takes a wound. Where do you hit him with this wound?
I think this is a well-placed shot to the eye.
Nice. He staggers, swatting at his eye, but it's still... He can see enough out of the other one to swing down at poor, suffering Thranen. Six damage. Thranen, you are at 0. So you need to take a wound, and there's a table here. So I need you to roll a dice. It's going to be a 12-sided dice. So in the chat bar, let me type out what you'll type so that it makes it the special die. You'll type /R1DF. So you'll type, just don't type, but you'll do everything else.
1DF.
Yep.
Oh,
That can't be good.
Okay.
That could have got worse.
You are knocked unconscious with 0 endurance and are now dying as if you were wounded twice. This is a grievous injury. Yeah, that's okay. That's the worst possible thing that you could do. So you are dying. So if you do not receive a successful healing roll within an hour, you are dead.
Dying like a boss.
Yeah. So he just brains you, and you hit the ground, and maybe a tooth comes flying out.
Oh.
Anyone want to change stances?
Now I went back to open.
Okay.
A lot of these run out of dwarves to beat on.
Right. Let me put down that you are defeated. You're not dead. You're just defeated. That was supposed to just take you out of combat. Let me make you not dead here. I don't think there's a thing. You shouldn't be. Okay. All right. Sorry, Malvigil, you're up first.
All right. Well, sometimes the best defense is a good offense. I hope.
Oh, there we go.
Huh?
So that's already going to be a piercing blow, so you can do a heavy wound. Okay, 15, so that's going to be a double piercing blow. So let me give him 2 protection rolls. If he fails one of them, the battle is over. He's protected on the first one. He's wounded. Okay, how do you kill this one?
Well, they kept ignoring me, so I think I just kept hitting them in the back, and you're gonna hit something important pretty quick.
Yeah, eventually you found his liver, and as you stab it, dark blood just gouts out from it. And he staggers forward and he falls, narrowly missing poor Thranen that has just been brained. But the battle is over. Thranen needs healing badly. If someone wants to make a healing roll on poor Thranen.
I'll burn a hope on this as well.
Okay. Automatic success. Excellent.
Yay.
So if the roll is successful, their life has been saved and they come back to their senses in about an hour at 1 endurance. If you were wounded, you must add 10 days to the time required for their injury to mend, minus the days removed by a healing roll. Finally, this leaves a permanent mark. The details are up to the player. A scar, a limp, a missing finger, etc. So you will be 20 days to fully recover from this, but you are not going to die. So what permanent mark, what scar would you bear for the rest of your days?
Yeah, I'd lose an ear. That sounds good.
So as he hit you, maybe you have a helm. Maybe your helm had ridden up, and as it gets jammed down, it just sliced your ear right off.
It's a terrible way to die.
Just awful. So let me put you back at 1 hit point. There we go. So you're back in the fight at least. But you have defeated the trolls, and Jari is wakes up as you're healing Thranen, and he is quite upset at what has happened. He's like, "No, you fools! This was my nest egg. What have you done? No!" And Diarmok is overcome with joy, and he says, "Oh, thank you, thank you. Now, if you can just find their mother and kill her."
Oh,
Or at least rescue
Why-
my
why don't
family.
Why don't we go get your family instead?
That would be even better. Let me take us to a map here.
Can I rest while they do this?
Yeah, so you can go with them, or you could stay here and kind of camp and recover. We'll kind of narrate most of this unless
I'll
it
go
gets
with
into
them.
a battle. All right, you guys
I'm a
can
dwarf,
see
I'm going.
this map, correct? This is visible.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So maybe at dawn, that would be the best time to go down here where the trolls are. You start at the ravine and you make your way towards the ruins where the trolls were. Without the trolls being a threat here, you're able to go in quite easily. This little alley, this gully that you're in, this looks like an excellent place to ambush intruders. And you know that had you been caught here, the trolls would have gained an advantage, both in dice, but also in strategy. But you managed to keep the fight away from them, and doing so, you were able to take them out. There's a partially concealed trail that runs along the bank of the stream here. And as you follow the trail, you see that it leads up to this ruined structure here. And this, in days of old, the followers of the king of Arthedain wrought fortifications of earth and stone in this valley. They dug trenches and tunnels and piled up the earth from them to make this fortification. A tower once stood atop it, built in the last years of that ancient kingdom. It was crudely made in comparison to other castles raised by the men of the West. That tower is long gone, but its wells and cellars remain. The trolls have claimed the largest of these as their hall, and they shelter there during the day, or they used to. Side tunnels look out from the flanks of this redoubt over the entire valley, allowing the trolls to survey this hidden valley. There are remains of the ancient watchtower that once guarded the valley here, and you see some of the old reliefs on here that likely have not been seen by humans for quite some time. Old images of kings, long but forgotten. It takes a
Long
king,
since.
long since forgotten. That's the word I was looking for. One carving shows a king, and based on the script it says King Argleb. Argleb, his left hand offering shelter to what looks to be a hobbit, while his right hand is outstretched in admonition towards the east. There's another pair of carvings facing west where once likely images of King Elendil and his son Isildur were carved. You can still see remnants of their names, but their images are long since faded. There's a staircase that leads down to the troll hall under the hill. Normally this would be kept watch by the trolls. They would have watched over this, but now there's no one to watch it. And so you find their foul-smelling troll hole, a veritable troll hall. This cellar would have been their main stronghold, and down here you find their meager treasure. There's a lesser hoard down here. To determine the amount of treasure, we roll one success die. Let me roll that. We multiply this by the number of players, which is 4. So that is going to be 12. So there's 12 units of treasure. And you can take as much as you like. Every unit of treasure will add 1 to your load. And so if you want to take some treasure, I think it's the bottom of the page. Yeah, there's treasure. You can put treasure there. I don't think putting it there automatically adds it to your load. So then you could go and... I would have to make something for that, but for now, you could take whatever you want. Really, you take as much as you might need. Most people they wouldn't take in excess because you got to haul it out of here. And if you wanted to, that could be done, but it may take you several trips. But most importantly, we roll to see if there's any magic items here. And so to do this, we will roll 2 dice. 2 feet dice. If we get a Gandalf rune or an Eye of Sauron, there's a magical item. Hey, there's a magical item. Let's see. Let me roll a 6-sided die, and we'll see what it is.
That's gotta be good.
Good. Yeah, so it's a named... So you're like almost never supposed to find these things. In our last 2 adventures, we found 2 of them. So it's a weapon or suit of armor of superior make. And let me see. I'm glad I put all of these in here. I didn't think we would get to them, but we did.
Come on, Mithril.
We find... let's see. Where is... Campaign treasure. There we go. Famous weapons and armor. Tell you what, Craig, give me a 1d6. if you want to roll a 1d6 for me, do /r space 1d6. One of these is mithril. If you get a 5 or a 6. Okay. You find the silver skin of Dringol. This legendary mithril shirt once protected Dringol Firehammer against 9 volleys of enemy arrows, turning away each and every one. The shirt is hundreds of years old and thought lost. And this is male. This is mithril, so it makes the load 3. And then this has additional magic properties. And as you raise your wisdom, you get more rewards, and you can unlock some of these properties rather than taking some generic ones. But for now, it's the first one, which is the load of 3. Who would like this mithril coat? It is fitted for a dwarf. I figure Malvagil has a spear that's magical. Furor has a ring that's magical. Thranen just lost an ear. Should we let Thranen have the silver skin of Dringol?
I would imagine that Fror would probably be the one finding this, as he is the
He is
treasure
the treasure
hunter.
hunter. So
I think when he finds this suit of mail, he will say, a dwarven make, this should go to a dwarf, and he will turn to Thranen and say, you saved me in battle, and this should serve you well in our battles to come, and present the mail to him.
So Thranen, you now have the silver skin of Dringol. It's not as good as your coat of mail. Your coat of mail had protection 4. Whole lot of good it did you. This one's only protection 3, but it takes 3 off your load. If you want to take this, you can ditch your coat of mail. You could give it to a companion if they want it. But this is going to help your load by reducing it significantly. And if you discover the second reward on this, it actually drops the load to 0, and so you would have no load there. Does Furor or anyone want the coat of mail?
What is your load? What does your mail cost you now?
So a normal coat of mail has a load of 6.
And
that should have been half.
Yeah, it should have been 3.
Yeah.
Because redoubtable.
Look, actually, it might be heavier, and it might have already been reduced to 3. So that would actually change your silver skin of Dringol to 2. Let me look up coat of mail. Actually, I've got it right here. I can look it up. I've got it on Foundry. Coat of mail is... the load is normally 12 for a coat of mail.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. That makes sense then. Yeah, I'm going to give my share of the treasure to the family that's relocating. Tell them to stay away from trolls and crappy dwarves.
Right.
Like untrustworthy dwarves.
I'm going to change your load to 2 because of your redoubtable on that silver skin of Dringol. And let me drop your coat of mail. There we go. Anyone want that coat of mail? Okay. Perfect. That reduced your load by quite a bit, by 3, or by 4, excuse me. Since you rolled an Eye of Sauron for finding this, Thranen, there is going to be a penalty here. If you get a Gandalf rune, it's kind of a good thing. If you get an Eye of Sauron rune, it's a greed test. You need to make a shadow test to fight off the effects of greed. So as you find this, you begin to grow covetous about this. It's something that definitely calls to you, and you want to know more about what else could be here. Maybe this begins to kind of nag away, or to dig away and begin to nag at you over finding these items. This will be a wisdom roll. And if you get a success plus any 6s, then that will reduce the cost of this.
Okay. I'll use another hope point. And I might as well inspire while I'm at it.
Oh, okay. Automatic success. So that will reduce it by 1. So you will actually take 2 shadow points. I'm going to put that in your temporary. There we go. And you are now miserable because your hope is 2, but it's okay. The adventure's almost over. So you are miserable.
Man.
And let's see, you are wounded. Yeah, let me put down you're wounded for 20 days. There we go. Okay, now I got all the bad stuff attached to your character. But hey, you got some awesome armor. Okay.
Anybody want to poison me?
Right? You don't have that yet.
Trifecta.
Well, do you want to drink Jari's his alcohol that he had?
No, I still don't trust that bastard.
So you've got this treasure. We need to get Diarmok's family. They're at the lake. As you leave here with the troll loot, and you maybe set aside some treasure for Diarmok's family, we need to rescue them. And you can see them out there on this raft on the lake. And Diarmok waves at them and says, "Oh, we're so close. Please go and help them. There's a boat around here somewhere." And he kind of looks in the reeds. I don't see it. It's here somewhere. Let me have one of the rangers give me an awareness roll. Oh, Adrahil easily spots this little skin raft. It would carry about 3 people. Since it's daytime, you're going to be able to get the family easily. Where this nighttime, you would find, as the family will tell you as you roll over and recover the family, that Nellie the troll actually lives on the bottom of the lake. She can hold her breath for great stretches of time. And were it nighttime as you rode across, she would come up and tip over your raft and begin to rend you to pieces in the water as you drowned. But because it's daytime, you're able to get there and rescue the family.
Do we still have the dwarf that's...
Yeah, so now the question is, we have saved the family, we have relieved the trolls of treasure, but what do we do with Jari?
Leave him on the raft.
Everyone agree? Leave Jari out there on the raft?
Yes.
Yeah, that seems just.
Because Nellie,
Seems,
when she wakes
and-
up, she's going to be hungry. All right.
Hang a sign around his neck that said, "I got your 2 sons killed."
Nice. And he's still bound, so he can't take it off?
Yeah.
Nice. What do you... So, Diarmok thanks you for all of your help and for the kindness of sharing the treasure with him so that he and his family can get set back up. The journey back to Bree is uneventful. You never make journeys to go back to town. It's just assumed that you arrive without with undue efforts. Just like in the Lord of the Rings, the journey back is no big deal, but it's the journey there that's exciting. So as we journey back to Bree, Thrainin will definitely need to rest, but we can start what's called a fellowship phase. So in the fellowship phase, when we get back, there's a couple things that we can do. So the first thing that you do is you can recover hope points equal to your heart score. And so, like for Thrainin, your heart score is 4, so you can recover 4 hope points. And that will at least get you up to 6, and so you're no longer miserable. So I'm going to take miserable off of you. You will rest so that you're no longer wounded. You will no longer be weary, because when you get a full night's rest, you recover all of your hit points. But you'd only recover your hope points, your heart score's worth of hope points. At Yule, which is the once a year, you take 3 months off because it's winter time, you're not adventuring, you recover all of your hope points. But for now, you can all recover your heart score in hope points. The other thing that you do at the end of the adventure is you get rewards, which is going to be 3 skill points and 3 adventure points. And those are used to level up, basically. There's a chart. I think I've got it in here.
So as a ranger of the North, I only get half my heart rounded up, right?
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. Let's see if I've got...
Sorry, I forgot to ask, did we heal our fatigue if we had some?
Yes, so that all of that would be healed once you go rest in the inn. you would lose 1 per day, and you're able to recover that. Let me show this phase. This shows the. It's got a kind of a notes for combat, but also for the fellowship phase. So you you set a duration, which we're going to have to do at least 20 days, because that's how long that Thranen needs to recover. Our destination will be Bree. You can perform updates. I don't know if anyone has enough right now, because you're going to get 3 skill points and 3 adventure points. And you use skill points to increase your skills, and to gain 1 rank will cost you 4 points, and to go from 1 to 2 costs you 8, and so on the chart. You spend adventure points to raise either your combat skills or to gain a rank in valor or wisdom. And so I don't think we quite have enough to do that. But the second thing, or the last thing we do, is we choose an undertaking. You can gather rumors. You can meet a patron. You can ponder storied figures and maps. You can strengthen the fellowship. You can study magical items. You can compose a song. I think we're going to meet a patron. And so this will be the patron for the campaign. And in Bree, we meet this guy. We meet Balin, son of Fundin. And Floki and Hornbori have spoken with him, and when we return, he is curious about our adventures and what has happened. And hearing at how well we have done, made wise choices, and not rushed headlong into danger, that we have been thoughtful and skilled, he says, I would like to hire you to do something for me. And he begins to lay out a plan to retake some of the dwarven lands that have been lost. And especially Fror, who would probably know Balin, and he's a local hero to you, everything that's gone on in Erebor. To hear him talk about retaking things that were lost, that can only mean one place. The thing that was lost to dwarves is Moria, and it sounds as though he is seeking an entrance to the mine. But he says, first, we must find information. And if you would be willing, I would have you do something for me. And to do such a thing would be dangerous, but would be worthwhile. You see, there is a document that I seek, to know if there is even any hope behind this. It is said that when Moria fell, many of the survivors went in different directions, north, south, east, and west. I myself went to Erebor, along with Thorin and the others. But there was a fellow who went westward, up into the Blue Mountains. And it is said that there he found a mine that had mithril, not in the abundance that Moria had. But he had a document there that described one of the ways to get back into the city. We dare not charge through the front gate, but if we can find one of these secret paths, I would go in and see it scouted to know if it is worthwhile to venture back into those halls. And if you would do this, it would be a great boon not only to myself, but to all dwarves, and to all good people, for that place is filled with ruinous elements, and we can make it clean and profitable once more, and all will profit. It will not be a place of greed and hoarding, but a place of great trade, and a passage between the east and the west, where trade can flow freely. So ponder on this if you will, and we will speak more of it in the morning. And that's where we will end the adventure. Oh, sorry, what do you answer, Balin?
Well, I was just going to say, of course, Master Balin, we would, at least I would, of course, take you up on this offer. However, I'd I'd ask you give us some time for a dwarf I hold in some high renown. Thrainin. He needs time to rest, for he saved my life during a ferocious battle between some trolls. But if you will just give us some time to rest, then I'm sure that he would also agree to this venture.
Time is one thing that we dwarves have in great abundance. Take all the time you need, fair friend. I will be back. I must see a friend off in the Shire. I promised him I would pay him a visit, and I am overdue. When I return, I will have more information, perhaps a map, that will guide you to this new location. Seek ye the information there, and then you will see the inside of the greatest dwarven construction that has ever been made. I remember fondly those halls, and I would see them in dwarven hands once more. And that's where we end. So we will have time for everyone to recover all of their endurance. Thrainin will bear that scar on his, or the lack of his ear. The ladies dig scars, so he's going to be all right. Dwarven chicks probably dig missing ears even more, so I think you're going to be okay. But that will be the next part of our adventure, is to go and find this thing for Balin. Now, did everyone put their skill points and adventure points on their character sheet? They're at the bottom. If not, I can go through. I'll add these onto Malvagil. I don't know, of course you're not going to play Malvagil in the campaign, but these will carry over to you, as well as that Talon of Theridilion. You can wield that as well with your new character. Otherwise, everyone's got their loot, skill points, adventure points. Does anyone take any treasure to like carry on their persons, or you can, leave it here in Bree? You can bury it. Again, it's not anything that you really track, other than if you want to, have a small hoard and pass it on to an heir or something. I think that's the only time you use treasure, is if you're setting up an heir, and that's done at Yule time. I think that's it. All right. Well, make sure everybody's got their stuff on here. I want to thank everybody for playing. That was fun. That usually the battle happens at the lake, and it's significantly harder. Of course, this one was still pretty hard. Thrainin took a beating, but is still ticking. I will go ahead and stop this recording. I'm going to get this posted later, and then I will see you guys, many of you, tomorrow in the Creeping Darkness, and all of you on Sunday for Dragonbane Secret of the Dragon Emperor.